It's a dark night. It's a dark night.
Well, welcome everybody to another BD Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. As your good friend Mr. BDA, flying solo for the moment, but I'm sure you guys will help me remedy that, because this is indeed an Open Lines Friday edition of the show, which means everybody can join the panel. It means ultimate pandemonium, mayhem, and hopefully a lot of laughs as well. Guys, thank you for joining us. There's a lot in the news, so before we get down to the fun, let's get the business out of the way, fellas. You know the drill. If you want to keep the gravy train rolling, you can certainly do so by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing if you haven't subscribed already, maybe a couple of shekels our way, and you can donate that via the super chat. Of course, you can also join the BD membership program. It's better because that way you get something in return: badges, emojis, and film analysis. But like I said, the most important thing is you continue to like, subscribe, listen, and to spread the BDA gospel. All right, fellas. Shout out to everybody out there in BDA land. We got Andre Shooter. Shout out to Andre, Knockout Ned, Tacit, Padja, SV, Slum Science, Punch Smollett, Team Batman Boxing, The Can Man. Oh, shout out to Rapax Trucking Company for his contribution with the super chat. And he says, hold on a second, let me put that up here on the screen. Hold on. And I'm going to be explaining real soon how you guys can join the show. Well, he didn't leave a message. Well, shout out to you, Rapax, anyway, for your contribution, man. Really appreciate it. And shout out to the Iceman as well in the chat room. All right. Well, let's get this party started. I'm going to show you how to join the show. Well, before I do that, though, can I just talk about, because I don't think we're going to get a chance to do this, because this is one of those type of shows where we feature big stories and not necessarily the more smaller comings and goings in the boxing world. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the cards that we have on Saturday. There we go. As you guys can see, we got Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall. Catterall is a competent fighter, and I would pick him to either beat or at least give a good fight to anybody out there. But he's up against one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And unless Josh Taylor goes in there with his cock half hard, I would not expect him to beat Josh Taylor. In any event, it's a solid card. You got Robesi Ramirez versus Eric Donovan in the undercard as well. The Showtime card is the one that I'm going to be looking forward to the most. You got Chris Colbert versus late replacement Hector Luis Garcia, an undefeated fighter. Gary Antoine Russell, undefeated, taking on Victor Postal. Now, Postal has not fought since 2020, and this is a 10-rounder. So the old man is going to have to pick up the speed real early, but nevertheless, it's an intriguing fight. And then you got Jerwin Ancajas taking on Fernando Martinez, an Argentinian fighter who's a little bull in there. So we got some solid boxing. I was going to mention Guillermo Riganda, but, you know, unless he actually gives us something worth watching, I think he's lost all of his chances and all of his credit here at BDA Boxing. He's in the back of the line, and he's got to show us something to get back in our good graces. And then on Sunday, Lawrence Okoli, the rather long and tall fighter at cruiserweight, taking on Mikhail Kislak. I don't know how you say his name. Somebody in the Discord was saying that Kislak is actually a good fighter, so this is a solid test for Okoli. The big question from Okoli is, how long is he going to stay at cruiserweight for? Because the heavyweight division is always a calling for these cruiserweights, because there's mucho dinero over there in the heavyweight division. Anyway, hopefully we get to talk more about that card as we let people in. Let me read a super chat here before we open up the panel. Shout out to Carlos Luis for his contribution with the super chat. It says, working that overtime, listening, great show, guys. Well, shout out to you, Carlos. Thank you for your contribution. Keep on trucking out there with that overtime. And hopefully you enjoy the show, man. Thanks again. But as long as you're not working overtime in a concentration camp as a guard or something, then I commend you for your work. All right. Let me show you guys how we open up the panel here and how to join if you're not familiar. So you got the Discord here, right? All right. So as you can see there, if you go to the left-hand portion, you shall see see what I'm signaling here there? BDA Boxing, and there's a speaker icon. Just click on that speaker icon and boom, you're in the panel. In fact, I'm there right now, waiting for people to join. I shall also drop the invite for people to join if they're not part of the Discord. It's rather easy to join the Discord. You don't need to sign in and then verify with your email. I think you just sign in with some sort of name, remember your password because it's going to ask you to create one, and that's it. You're in. Just remember that info and you'll always be able to re-enter the Discord. All right, I see that people haven't been jumping in yet. We got a little bit of a breathing room here for the moment. The big news. Now I'm not talking about Russia, Ukraine. I'm talking about Canelo's next fight. Everybody was holding their breath. What's Canelo going to do? Who's he going to fight? Is he going to take the PBC deal? Is he going to take... And we talked about it not only in the last show, but also in the last Open Lines Friday show. And the news are now coming out. I think it's confirmed. He's going with DAZN. It's going to be Bivol, May the 7th, and then Golovkin on September the 17th, provided that Golovkin wins his fight against Lyoto Murata. It is not a given. Murata is a competent fighter who can punch hard. So we'll see. All right, we got more people jumping in here. We got Fighter Spirit joining us. Fighter Spirit, thank you for jumping in, man. What do you make of this Canelo move, fighting Bivol? You think this Canelo finally meets his match against Bivol?
What's going on, BDA? I think it's a good decision. I predicted this. I had a dream about it. He drops Triple G. So don't be surprised when Triple G gets dropped because that's my prediction. I had a dream about it. It's the hardest fight, right? Everybody's saying out of all of them, it's the hardest fight, right?
Mm. Well, listen, I would not have minded had he chosen the PBC route because those would have been solid fights. But I don't know about you, man. Well, obviously you had that dream, so you're on the same page as I am, but as mine rather. But I think Canelo finally meets his match in this one. I mean, but here's the problem too. By the way, we got Snowflake dropping by. Snowflake, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
All right, thank you for jumping in, man. The thing I don't like about this, number one, it's gonna be the DAZN pay-per-view. That's what they're saying. I don't know if it's confirmed, but the DAZN pay-per-view. Look, I've been subscribed to the DAZN since 2018, I believe, when they first started it, late 2018. Now they're saying, well, okay, if you're a subscriber, you get a pay-per-view, but you get a $20 rebate. It should cost $20. Even then, it shouldn't cost anything because we supposedly... So the DAZN is really pissing me off and a lot of people here. What do you guys think? Are you subscribed to the DAZN? What do you think about this move of making it a pay-per-view?
I'm subscribed, man, but honestly, I think I saw it coming. But truthfully, at least the way I try to look at it and the way I'm trying to kind of get over it, because it kind of is what it is at this point, is they're going to charge $50 for each pay-per-view, as I guess what they're saying. If you're already a subscriber, I just renewed earlier this year, so the way I see it, I'm going to pay $50 for this up and coming May, and then another $50 in September. So all in all, that's $200 for the whole year.
Jeez.
If I'm paying $200 for two Canelo fights, you know what I mean? Taylor, Serrano, possibly Usyk, Joshua, if they don't make that pay-per-view. Whatever other fights they put together for the rest of the year with Munguia and Garcia and Virgil Ortiz. I mean, I'm not exactly mad at it, you know what I mean? Because I've gotten my money's worth throughout the last, couple of years. I'm like you, BDA. I've been a subscriber since 2018, so that's the way I'm trying to look at it. You know what I mean? Throughout the whole year, $200. I don't think it's that bad.
I mean, it's not that bad, but it's still bad. These guys. We were always talking about how the PBC. They were always saying that their fights were free, and then most of it turned into pay-per-view. And now the DAZN is doing. Obviously, it's not everything is not pay-per-view yet, but I mean they're starting out with a bad precedent here. And shout out to the Boxing Asylum.
What's going on, B?
Real quick, MMA Jimmy, let's just say this. Shout out to the Boxing Asylum because I heard it on their show. They showed a clip of Eddie Hearn saying a while back, saying, pay-per-view, no, we don't go for pay-per-view anymore. That's the old model, blah, blah, blah. And now he's saying, and then they showed a clip of him saying, well, I never said that. Well, I mean, we got you on camera, man. I mean,
BDA,
yeah.
I don't Canelo beating. I mean, I don't see Bivol beating Canelo. I don't see Benavidez beating Canelo. I don't see Charlo beating Canelo either. I just feel like Canelo's too good. But out of all of them, Bivol's the harder fight. But they're just taking advantage of Canelo's star power because I told you guys he's the number one marketable athlete because of that flag he represents. Mexicans are the majority in the whole country, the whole continent really. So they're just taking advantage of his star power. You know?
Yeah,
Right.
but BJ, right? So you're talking about the Eddie Hearn and the Zone pay-per-view situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my opinion on that situation is right when the Zone first came in the game, right? Everybody could agree with this that they were against pay-per-views. They were trying to bring in this subscription, I guess, style on an app style to boxing, like streaming platform, right? So they do this, right? And it's cheaper than pay-per-view and stuff like that, right? So they're supposed to be against pay-per-view, and then now you want to charge us for pay-per-view, and this is people who already bought the Zone,
My
right?
point.
We already have the
They're taking
Zone.
advantage of his star power.
Yeah.
My point.
So we have the Zone already, right? Because I have the Zone. And you want us to buy that on top of that? I mean, no. If the big fights are going to be pay-per-view on the Zone, what's the point of getting the Zone then? Like really,
Exactly.
I'll rather just stream it, bro. For real.
Not for nothing, but I think a lot of boxing fans are gonna go. A lot of DAZN subscribers are gonna go down that route. Because what choice are they leaving us as consumers? The best thing we can do is we talk with our money. We speak with our money. Let me tell you. Listen.
Also, it's false advertisement too.
Yeah. Hey, I
'Cause
wonder.
you're
You're in the USA, right? Maybe you could sue them.
Maybe because you guys, when you first came in the game, you said you were giving us a product that it doesn't do pay-per-views. It's an app platform, and like what's his name? It's kind of like
Streaming.
app, a streaming platform, right? And it's less and it's more affordable. But now you want to do pay-per-views, so I mean, it's basically what's the point for the app if you're just gonna be doing pay-per-views, right? So I mean, it's ridiculous. This is false advertisement. I might, if like after this Chocolatito and Julio Cesar Martinez fight, I might just cancel my Zone pay-per-view all around, bro.
And let me tell you something. I'm going to be getting Rayful Shapiro on this. See if I can get one of you guys from the USA to work with him in tandem and maybe try to. Because again, I'm not a litigious person, but this is really, gets stinging my eye, or rather lighting my ire here. We got Soothsayer, Anderson Aldo dropping by as well. Fellas, what do you think about this move?
For what, the Bivol fight in Triple G?
Being on pay-per-view. The Zone pay-per-view.
Oh,
this new model.
well, I think originally they were trying to do the whole streaming thing, but then they cut too many deals. They couldn't make enough money. They're bleeding money, and now they got to go back to the old route to make money.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it was. They pay these guys too much, and the way that the whole sport. I've talked about this a lot. Fighters get paid way too much, and just it's not sustainable. It really isn't. So they have to go back.
Because look, they're giving GGG and Andrade all this money, right? For fighting low level competition fights, right? So when you do that, when you give these fighters millions and millions of dollars and you don't really get anything in return, you're gonna go bankrupt. Like you're going to so I mean, they're in debt and they're trying to capitalize off of Canelo's name and make it pay-per-view so they can get their money back.
This is a problem with all of boxing. It's not just the Zone. Like
Exactly.
Look at PVC. They got like fucking Thurman, Ortiz, and what's his name, Charles Martin, the fucking God of War, right? They're on pay-per-view. They're doing like 50,000 buys or whatever. That's embarrassing.
That's why all these
40,000 pay-per-view buys, and he supposedly makes a lot of money. He's not exactly racking up pay-per-view buys.
That's
all the sport, the whole layout. Like the only successful thing right now, honestly, is like UK boxing when it comes to and even then, Amir Khan and their fight. Apparently, that did low numbers as well. So it's all over.
Fans, though, UK fans, I'll give credit to them when it's due. They actually buy the fights. They actually go to the fights, you know. But like with PBC, they put every fight on pay-per-view just to get back the money in their debt, because they're not getting a lot out of these fighters that they're building up. I mean, their biggest star was Wilder. Wilder got knocked out. Then it's Spence now, but Spence, he only fights once a year. So I mean,
well, can I
really
jump in here, man? Because
go ahead.
You mentioned the Brooke Khan thing. Didn't Shalom, and by the way, that's his real name, the promoter of that event, the Khan Brooke event, did he say that it was he said it was a success, right? So is he bullshitting, or like what indicates
Shalom, my brothers. Shalom.
Well, it's a success, but I don't think they did as much as they expected. Like it's still in the like they made money, but it like I've heard reports that it was supposed to do like $2 million. I'm 90% sure it didn't do that. Like I don't know the numbers obviously, but there's unconfirmed reporting that it did poorly from what it was expected to do. Still positive, but
interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go with that, man. I mean, yeah, it's. You guys are absolutely right, man. They're paying these guys too much, and I think it was Anderson. You were getting into it with somebody on Discord about fighter pay, but it's true, man. Yeah, you can't justify some of the egregious
boxers. The top percent, right? Like the Canelos, Floyds, Pacquiao's for a long time, for the past few honestly the past 2 like decades, they're getting paid like tens of millions of dollars. I mean, a 10 million paycheck should be like every single major fight. Like that's about it. Not 40 million or 100 million. That's bullshit, dude.
But how many pay-per-views did Canelo sell in his last fight? He did pretty good.
I think 900,000 under a mil. He's only
and that was alone in the United States, right? So he did more than that. That's pretty good. And that was just with Plant. So I'm sure that he's going to do good with Bivol and Triple G. So that's probably why.
Like, it is the top guys that are selling. So, like, it, in terms of, like, if you're, like, they're the ones that are making that shit, right? So it is understandable. But they're allowed to fight guys, maybe not Canelo, but just in general, right? They can fight guys that are, like, subpar, and they get, like, millions of dollars each time. That's bullshit, dude.
Yeah. And by the way, that argument that the guy was using, I don't know who he was, I'd never seen him before, on the Discord, and he was saying, well, I'd rather guys get overpaid because they're taking a risk. And I always go, listen, I don't want to be selfish, but what about us? Aren't we taking a risk as well? Putting our hard-earned money to the test and getting these subscriptions and buying these pay-per-views? Because there's somebody in the chat, Marion or something. But real quick, MMA, let me just say this real quick. There's somebody in the chat, Marion or something. Hold on, let me find the comment. They go, what is it? Okay, so UK fans buy the fights and you give them respect, yet you are now saying you don't want to pay pay-per-view. What does that say? Well, what that says is that I pay for the zone, and they said that they were going to be doing the pay-per-view model, and now they're twisting it around, saying, no, actually, we got to go to pay-per-view. So it's false advertising there. I put my money where my mouth is, but when it comes to pay-per-view, fuck them, man. It's not worth it. Look, Canelo-Bivol.
They're saying, they deserve to get paid because they're taking risks. Like, listen, first of all, these are not some guys off the street box. These are professional boxers, right? Yes, they do get, hurt and stuff, but it's rarely in boxing that a boxer does die or does get seriously injured, So, I mean,
but even that talking point, you could just give all boxers free healthcare. I mean, it's not a lot.
And why pay a guy millions and millions of dollars to fight a bum? Like, I like the UFC's I like how the UFC is doing things, like how their model is. When you step up like a title fight, you get more money and stuff like that. But like, you're not gonna just get a lot of money just to fight a bum or something like that. So I like their model, So I think boxing, I think it's really spoiling fighters. They think, I'm gonna get paid a lot anyway, so I could just fight a bum. I think fighters are being spoiled nowadays. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't watch V or cable like that. I really stay away from it. But when's the last time you seen a Canelo Alvarez commercial? Like, I'm asking everybody, have you guys seen Canelo commercials?
Yeah,
I
he
don't
was
even
cooking
watch.
beef last time. Like he
I
made
don't.
fun of the whole thing, like where he tested positive. He was like cooking a steak. It was actually kind of funny.
Oh yeah,
That's the last
I
time.
think
Crazy.
I saw. I actually saw Canelo. Like I think he did something with Hennessy or something. I saw
Oh
that
yeah,
on.
okay.
I saw that on cable, but yeah, I don't really watch cable anyway. But yeah,
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 yeah, true.
who can deal with the commercials now, right? But
yeah,
shout
it's
out to Chris.
ridiculous.
Yeah, shout out to Chris K in the chat for his contribution with the super chat. And he says, what does he say? He said, we'll only buy if it's a 50-50 fight. No way if lopsided. Well, shout out to Chris K for his contribution. And you bring up a good, interesting point there, Chris K, because the Bivol-Canelo fight is a 50-50 fight. In fact, I actually favor Bivol. But it's nothing that really makes me go, oh, wow. You know, it's like, especially when you've had 3-4 years of fights on the zone where you actually get the fights with the subscription, and now they're telling you, whoopsie daisy, hey, listen, you got to pay for this, and we'll take away $10, we'll take the $20 off the price. Well, it should be $20, it should be free, man. Not only should it be $20, that would be at least borderline acceptable, but it should really be free. I mean, this is actually disgusting, man.
Let me ask you guys, and let me ask the chat: what does a fight need for it to be pay-per-view? What do you think a fight needs for it to be pay-per-view?
A good undercard. Number one. Well, actually, number one, the quality of the main event as well.
Yeah, but that will never happen because boxers are like rappers. They're signed to certain companies and they can't even fight on undercards. I agree with you though.
I mean, they could load up some of these cards though. Like, I don't remember
For
the last
real,
time
though.
a boxing pay per view it's had like a great undercard. Like UFC, they have like multiple title fights in the main card, top contenders fighting in the undercard and prelims. Like, I've never seen that in boxing.
I think
Ever.
for a pay-per-view, the co-main should be a title fight. I think that's my opinion. But
Why can't we get like 3 or 4? Like there's like 4 titles in every single weight division. There's so many weight divisions. Why not 4 a night? Like, seriously.
Well, it was Bob Arum who said a long time ago, about 10 years ago, he said, look, listen, when we have a fight like, let's say, Mayweather versus Pacquiao or, Mayweather Cotto, it's the casual that drives the pay-per-view by up to 1 million. It's not the hardcore boxing fan. So what these people are doing is they're getting that non-boxing fan money, and they're okay with that. So they go, listen, we're paying these guys, 10 million, 15 million in the main event. The people watching the casuals, they don't give a shit about the undercard. That's the way they look at it. So that's why sometimes they load some of these big fights with crappy undercards because they know people are buying into
that is true, BDA. But if you think about it, if they let's say for 5 Canelo fights, right, they had this one champion that constantly fought right at the co-main, that dude would get big because people wait. Like, maybe they aren't watching for real, like the casuals, but they look at the fights. If there's a big knockout, they'll pay attention and be like, oh shit, they'll post that on Twitter. If there's a constant fighter on these undercards, he'll become a star as well. And then he could have his own pay-per-views. Like, you can build people up on undercards. They just don't do that.
Man.
I
agree.
With the zone, what they do, with their they haven't done pay-per-views, but with Canelo fights, like big fights, they just put a bunch of prospects on the card.
Exactly. That's the worst when they put these prospects with a bunch of no-hopers and you're watching a mismatch after mismatch. I mean, Aldo, you brought up a good point about that, but that's the problem is these guys, the promoters, they don't see it that way. They're businessmen. They're making their money. So they go, fuck the undercard, fuck building up prospects or actually, top 10 fighter against a top 10 fighter and actually building those guys up. Now, let's just, like MMA Champ said, let's just put in a bunch of prospects because they think that the hardcore and the non-hardcore are going to look at those prospects and get excited. But it's a fucking mismatch. In the moment, people are watching a mismatch and that's not entertaining. Might as well put a bullfight in there while you're at it.
Why would I want to see a prospect gold medalist versus a guy who is a sanitation worker? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, man. A fucking, a sanitation worker or a janitor, like the guy they put Bronner in there with. I mean, come on.
Yeah. You remember that one black dude that fought the pro debuting Mexican dude, and he looked like a dude, like a random ghetto dude that street fights. You guys remember? It was on ESPN.
Yeah.
And the commentary was literally laughing at this guy just got pulled off the fucking streets. Like, why does that happen?
Yo, remember what's his name? That new Mexican fighter that is William Zepeda versus that guy.
Oh, that was
Josué Vargas.
Yo, that was a funny fight, bro.
that
was
fight,
Is that
man.
the one I'm talking about? Where he was clearly like a never boxed a day in his life.
Bro,
I don't. It
bro,
was this Saturday.
he
This
never-
past Saturday.
he looked funny. Like I was, like he
Yeah,
looked
he was
so
like
out of
skipping
way.
in the ring, right?
So it sounds like nobody's happy
Yeah.
with this Canelo fight, right? Nobody's in
No,
town
no,
with
no, no, no. The
No,
fight
we
itself
want
is
the fight.
good.
Yes, we want the fight,
The
but we're
quality
just
is
not
good.
happy
Yeah.
with what they're doing with the
this, right?
pay-per-view.
It's supposed to be on free on the zone. Out of a sudden, they're trying to do pay per view. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it's because there's so many Latinos. There's so many Latinos in the continent, Latinos in general, that they already know that they're gonna sell pay per views. There's so many.
Why you
Right?
keep
Yeah,
saying
they know-
Latinos? Why you keep saying Latinos? We're not Latin. We don't go around speaking Latin like ancient Rome, man. Stop using Latin.
Yeah, and us Brazilians, we don't buy Canelo pay per views. You know?
You're Brazilian.
Yes,
Aldo?
I'm an Afro Brazilian.
Dude.
Oh, Afro Brazilian. Okay.
Yeah.
Black man.
Babao, Brazil.
I'm telling you right
That's-
now, the favelas are not with Canelo. I'm telling you right now.
You
Well,
think
I
so?
mean-
Your hair, Anderson? Do you pick your hair out?
Yeah. I
Okay,
got
what the
little
fuck is
black
that
fist
question?
one. The black
Listen,
fist one.
let's get back to the boxing. So yeah, no, fighter spirit. That the fight itself is good. It's just a pay per view thing. That's the one that sticks in my craw. And and that's the thing though. Like I said, consumers, we pay and we speak with our money. And I think this is the zone. They're gonna get a hard surprise, man, because there's gonna be a whole bunch of hardcore boxing fans that are gonna be streaming this fight on their computers. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the numbers say after the fight. But let's get back to the fight.
Like,
in and
aren't
of itself.
subscribers? I mean, truthfully, what it's supposed to be $60 for them every time. If you think about it, if Bivol Triple G, that's $120. But if you would have fought Charlo Benavidez, that's $160. So I guess for them, I mean, it's a savings. For us that are annual subscribers, obviously not so much. But
Well,
at that
let's say-
point, it is a little bit cheaper.
Bro,
Yeah, you're right. Because let's say it's $60 for us subscribers. So if the Golovkin fight, if Canelo gets past Bivol, let's say he fights Golovkin, that's another $60. That's $120 on top of the
Wait,
subscription
wait,
fee.
the
we would pay.
Golovkin fight will be pay-per-view too?
I'm assuming. I mean, if they see that,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, bro. Come on, man.
Either way he goes, it's either PBC, they're definitely doing pay per view, or DAZN. I mean, yeah, it's going to be pay per
That's
view no matter what.
ridiculous, bro. Like, what's the point of me even like having the zone if like the two biggest fights is going to be pay-per-view and they said that they're not going to do pay-per-view? Like, bro, I'll just stream it, man.
You get to watch their prospects. That's it.
yeah, that's what I want to watch. A bunch of prospects beating up on some cab drivers. Come on. Well, listen.
Yeah, bro.
When it comes to the fight itself, I'm interested in the fight because Bivol is going to make it very hard for Canelo in there. I mean, if Caleb Plant was giving him trouble, I'm going to go ahead and assume that Bivol, who is a spear fighter, might just beat him. The problem is, I don't know if Canelo can lose a decision. He's the A side. So do you guys think that even if he does lose, he just has to make it competitive so that the judges give him at worst a draw? Or am I being too...
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you're right.
Because-
You're right. I mean, everyone knows this. Like, even like Canelo fans. I mean, that just comes with being the cash cow of boxing.
Listen,
You get the benefits.
Listen, fighting Canelo, you're gonna have the ref, the judges, the commission, everybody against you. So you're gonna have to dominate like the whole fight. You can't like put your foot off the gas, bro. So like Bivol really needs to show his dominance in the ring, like the whole 12 rounds. You know, he can't like step off the gas. Even if he thinks he's winning, he still can't, step off the gas. He still has to dominate, make sure, the judges know that he is winning the fight.
Absolutely, man.
Do you guys all agree with me that out of the top four that were capable, that were going to fight Canelo, were Bivol the hardest?
I think GGG is harder than Bivol, but he's Bivol is the second hardest. Yeah, he's the second hardest.
I
But
think that Bivol was hardest, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
mean,
always thought that Bivol
he
was
is
the
old,
hardest.
man.
Man.
Like, yeah, I mean, Bivol, he's bigger, he's fast. You know, he's people say he's a power puncher or a pillow puncher, but he's got power, he's got pop. I mean,
He broke
he-
Joe Smith's jaw. Like, come on, bro. He's broke his jaw.
and he did stop.
So with
Sullivan.
me, at least with Canelo, sorry not to cut you off, VDA. I don't know if you guys agree with me on as well, but when Canelo went undisputed in the 11 months, I always thought, fuck it, give him a tune-up. Like in May, let him have a tune-up. I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna bash him for it. And then in September, take on the hard fight, which to me, out of those four, is Bivol. So I'm not bashing this whole thing as far as him going that way, because to me, it's just backwards. He took the tune-up in September. He took a tougher fight in May in Bivol. He's jumping up another weight class, fighting another undefeated fighter, which arguably has a better resume than any of the other guys. Well, not so much Triple G, but Charlo and Benavidez. He just did it backwards. He took the tune-up in September, and he took the tougher fight in May. So for me, it's like a pass.
Well, I would rather, like, can I say that the Bivol fight presents a tricky assignment because it's a mover who's not going to let Canelo get set, and it's a style that still gives him problems. On the other hand, you got Benavidez. Unfortunately, he would be the second fight, not the first, but maybe he doesn't beat Canelo either, but he would at least make him hurt for the next day. You know what I mean? Like Canelo would wake up and his whole body would be hurt because of the fight.
I mean, what's the name? Benavidez is overrated. He's overrated, bro.
Well, I can agree with that because he hasn't. Yeah, I can agree. I don't disagree, man, because he hasn't really beaten anybody of note. So the performances against the type of people he's fought so far indicate that he is a superior fighter than those guys. But at the same time, he's never fought anybody like Canelo. So
I might hurt a lot of Canelo fans' feelings when I say this, but I think Bivol will box circles around Canelo.
Oh. Well, you heard it here
if
first.
Canelo knocks out Bivol, or is this? Are we done saying with this narrative that he's weak or that he can't beat boxers? Because there's a lot of people buying all the hype on Caleb Plant, saying Caleb Plant was going to do that, and obviously we all see all that.
Caleb was a bum with a belt. His best win was a washed-up Uskatali. Okay.
Hold on. That's not what I'm saying. Let me finish.
You gonna go?
Yeah, let me finish my point. And then
Are you retarded? Go. Are you slow? Go.
Soothsayer, go ahead. I think he got disconnected.
I'm gonna go then, real quick. Somebody was talking about Canelo taking like a tune-up fight before or after like some big fight. Me. Okay, maybe just me. I don't know about y'all, but how do y'all feel about tune-up fights? Like me, I've watched like MMA just as much, if not more, than boxing at this point.
What's the matter with
tune-up fights are bullshit. They should not exist. Like, how do you guys feel about them? Like, do you think that's a good thing for the sport? I think that they should be like, out of it completely.
Yes. Yeah. You can't keep taking tough fight upon tough fight in your career because your career will end short.
So you just crush a can? You just like knock someone out?
Dude. Okay, I think this is the piece of the puzzle that a lot of people are missing. The tune-up fight was in the DAZN contract. It's Triple G in a third fight. That is Canelo's tune-up fight.
You're a clown.
That is Canelo's tune-up fight.
Shut up.
Dude, like he's fighting Shut up.
All right, hold on. Let him finish. I want to hear everybody's point.
Shut the fuck up, MMA.
Oh, no need to be disrespectful. Come on. All right, Eldo, go ahead, man.
Your mom.
All right, Eldo, go ahead.
Yeah, mute this clown.
Yeah, get some carne asada Rillos. The carne asada flavored Rillos.
Just go, man. Just go.
Yeah, Eldo, just talk over them. Just talk over them.
Got kicked out of the ring IQ, bro. He goes in there with
hold on, dude. That's beside the point, right? That's beside the point. What I'm saying is Triple G is the tune-up fight. He's a 40-year-old man who hasn't fought an elite opponent since Canelo in the second fight. It's been a couple years, and if you want to argue Derevianchenko was elite, let's be real. He's a glorified fucking gatekeeper.
Well, I respect your opinion, but this could all change depending on how Golovkin looks against Murata this April. By the way, I think that's the breaking news as well. That
the weakest link at 160 really Murata.
Well, but if Triple G really is that past his prime, then he shouldn't get past Murata, or he should at least look like shit against him. That's my point. So we'll see what happens in April.
Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. The sky's also blue. I mean, everyone knows he's a champion.
Also,
but when we watch him fight, we know he's not that good.
What other middleweight is going for a unification other than GGG right now? Nobody. Okay, thank you.
Actually, all of them are chasing Canelo.
Thank you.
All of them are chasing Canelo.
Well, one thing that El Dog is sweeping under the rug and is easily discounting that Triple G has that nobody else has is that chin and the power. Exactly. So that chin and that power are not tune up intangibles. No, they're more solid than what anybody else has in the game right now, whether he's 37, 40, or 50.
That's a good point.
I disagree. Triple G's power is overrated, especially now. Like, here's the thing: Triple G, who is he really knocked out of significance?
Well, you're getting into the fucking Tyson Fury argument here that the LDBC people were.
Nobody wants to fight. The problem is nobody wants to fight him. It's hard for him to judge that.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I know he
there we
go. Twice in the rematch. I know that for
Maybe
sure.
early in his career you were right, but everybody wants to fight Triple G now. He's finished.
Well, like, listen, fellas, all of these will be resolved. All of these, hold on, fellas, all of these will be resolved once Triple G fights in April against Murata. Now, Jimmy's dropping by. Jimmy, thank you for dropping by. I wanted to ask you, Jimmy, just briefly going back to the pay-per-view, the zone thing. Real quick, before I ask you this, Jimmy, let me just read a shout out to Texas Bulldog for his contribution to the super chat. He says, I think it bothers Canelo that we knew his choice. Yeah, I mean, that was in the news about 2 weeks ago that this was going to be his pick. So shout out to Texas Bulldog for his contribution. And shout out to Chris K for his contribution. He says, judges early voting like Democrats, cards mailed in April. Oh, what are you trying to say there, Chris K?
Hey,
all right, well, hold on, real quick. I wanted to ask Jimmy. Jimmy, what do you make of this? The zone saying that they're going to make the Canelo fights pay-per-view. I mean, does this bother you? Does this infuriate you? Did you expect this? What's going on here?
To no end. Like, bad enough. Like, I don't want to buy it. I don't want to just get rid of the fucking subscription because it's bullshit, dude. You don't sell. Your whole thing was buy this app. This is the future. Pay-per-view is dead. I mean, Hearns was singing that from the top of the fucking thing. So what happened? In order to probably keep his job, from here on is my speculation. He fucked up. He overextended, paid people like Mickey Garcia $7 million to fight whatever the Vargas or whatever it was. Jesse Vargas. And when at the end of it, they looked at the numbers brought in to subscriptions to what they paid out, and they were probably ready to gas them. Even though they got this big cash infusion, they're still saying it has to be on pay-per-view. That tells me DAZN isn't 100% in on fucking boxing. Because if they were, they wouldn't lie. Because they're going to lose a lot of fucking people. Because just, listen, it's not just, I mean, and I haven't even heard, maybe if they said, okay, let me rephrase that. Maybe if they said, come out and say, if you are a subscriber, for the past, you have to be a subscriber for 30 days. That way, at least 30 days or say 90 days, whatever some stupid amount of time is. That way, it's not everybody signed up that day to get the thing cheaper. But if you're a subscriber and you've been a subscriber, which I've been right from the rip, off the rip, you will get the thing for a third, $39.95 instead of $79.95. But if they think they're going to come in and keep hitting me for this monthly subscription, and then every now and then, to their whim, whatever fight they decide is pay-per-view worthy, fucking suck
Jimmy,
it.
I think if you're a subscriber for a amount of time, like, cause I'm on my second subscription, so I think that for subscribers, it should be free for them. It should be free, like, come on,
or at least some big benefit. At least make it. Hey, you know what they say? Fucking what they always say. Membership has its benefits. Like, reward your loyal customers. If you put me in the same line with every other fucking jamoke, fuck off.
Exactly, because I kind of feel like disrespected as a subscriber. Because how you gonna say pay-per-view is dead, and you're giving us fights for less money, right? And then you do a pay-per-view now, and then it's ridiculous, and you're not even giving the subscribers who's been subscribed to you for since you started like any benefits or nothing. So it's ridiculous.
The zone is like they've shown their financial losses, I believe, and they were down $1.3 billion. $1.3 billion in losses, and it's because they gave out $100 million contracts to non-stars like Triple G. No one wants to go and see that dude fight.
They never made good on those. They didn't make good on Canelo's. They didn't.
You said
they didn't make good on Triple G's contract.
All the boxers are being overpaid. It's not just them. Canelo was overpaid.
No, hold on, bro. Because I'm not going to debate this. This is facts. Like, when you look at Triple G, no one really gave a fuck about his last couple of fights. Let's be honest. As soon as people found out he couldn't beat Canelo, they jumped ship to the next, white dude.
Is GGG not a a ticket seller? Is he not a ticket seller?
No.
Bro, are you gonna lie, right?
Let's go look at the Steve Rolls numbers. Let's go look at the Steve Rolls.
He sold out the MSG. He sold out the MSG. That's a fact.
In record time. He sold out MSG in record time. He sold out Los Angeles. He has sellout in 3 continents and on both coasts. London.
Dude, he cannot generate money like a Tank Davis can.
Hey, he's fighting in Japan because he cannot bring in the money.
So what about the 1.3 million pay-per-views him and Canelo sold?
Bro, that's Canelo. That's Canelo.
Okay, all right. So then the next pay-per-view Canelo had, he didn't even do 400,000.
What do you mean the next pay-per-view Canelo had? That was the last pay-per-view Canelo had.
I can't hear you.
Hold on, MMA champ. MMA champ. Let Jimmy. MMA champ, because I think Jimmy knows the numbers here by heart. Jimmy, go ahead, man.
Yeah, mute MMA. Finally.
His big one, he did with the fucking failure, the junior there, Chavez. That one did surprisingly pretty decent numbers, but he did a pay-per-view. What's that? Yeah, I know that was surprising, but I know it did just under $1 million. But he did one since then. He's done one other pay-per-view. The last one he did before was it with Khan? I forget who it was. But it was well under $500,000.
You see, with Triple G,
who he fights matters. He did, he did well. It did 1.1 million and 1.3 million. Whether you're Triple G or not, he sold out in Los Angeles. He sold out Madison Square Garden from a kid from Kazakhstan who couldn't speak English, and he sold out in Los Angeles. Who's making excuses for him? I'm telling you, in his prime, he did numbers.
Here, right? I've got the numbers here. I don't care where he's from, what language he speaks.
All right, but you keep talking over me. Yeah,
kind of food he likes.
Make
what
your
kind
point.
of pornography, whatever. We got this. Triple G sold 7,000 tickets.
Stop ganging up on L-Dog, guys.
Bro, Triple G.
He's jamming up an L-Dog. He was putting words in my mouth.
Bro, Triple G sold 7,000 tickets in his last fight and generated $1 million worth of ticket sales. That's a third of what Tank Davis. He fought Derevianchenko.
No,
and what about the record sellout of Madison Square Garden?
When was that? That wasn't that fight.
Well, it was back when he was still fighting. He did too. The one before that with Lemieux was even quicker.
Danny Jacobs in his hometown of New York City, and the fight sold out.
I was there. I'll tell you right now, I was there, and it had nothing to do with Daniel Jacobs. Believe me, that was like 90% pro to the point. I've said this on the show. I felt so bad for Danny Jacobs that nobody was fucking like cheering for the kid. He had all around Madison Square Garden have these booths selling Triple G gear and fucking Daniel Jacobs gear, usually side by side. You couldn't find a Triple G hat in the place. Every sweatshirt, every hat, everything was gone. I literally bought Daniel Jacobs shit because I felt bad for him because nobody was buying his stuff. I swear to God, I've said it on the show before. I bought a sweatshirt and a hat because I felt bad. I'm like, nobody's buying this kid's shit. And when he fought Lemieux, that was all a fucking pro crowd. Listen, from 2014 to 2017, you can say whatever you want. I think he should be retired. I'm not on here saying he's. Yeah, but it is what it is, dude. It's not,
Yeah,
but it
still a
doesn't
fact that he
doesn't mean he
sold out
didn't
the
do it.
MSG. He still sold out the MSG.
Bro,
Well,
he's
listen.
he's just not a factor anymore. When people found out he couldn't beat Canelo,
You know,
they
he did
stopped
beat
buying
Canelo. He
tickets.
got robbed.
You know
But
why
he
he
did
started
beat
that, man?
Canelo. He got robbed.
No, he
People
didn't.
people scratch.
Hey,
Wait,
he
wait,
did.
hold on. You're saying he didn't win the first fight?
Bro, I'm saying in the second fight, people found out
All
he
right,
couldn't
all
beat
right.
Canelo.
Old dog,
And
you scored
you
both.
saying? Are you saying you
couldn't beat Canelo. He lost both fights.
All right, hold on.
Right.
Everyone's talking over each other.
No, he
Fellas,
didn't.
One at a time, Garrett, one at a
Yeah, fellas, I'm
time.
gonna have to mute people.
GG.
Yeah,
Spirit,
because
you
now we're
said you come in that one.
fellas,
Shut up.
fellas.
It's
Please, one at a
2-0
time.
versus Canelo.
Hey, I'm gonna mute people one at a time. I don't understand where we're going with this because people found out he couldn't beat Canelo. Well, what? Of course, he couldn't beat him on the scorecard. the judges
They
was going to
want
give him the
to see
benefit
the
of the
match
doubt. So
and
that's the
lose, so
thing
of
that
course
I'm
they're
gonna have to mute people. Yeah, he couldn't beat him on the cards, but he was still listen. That second fight was razor close, man. I don't understand why people wouldn't want to see that again. Because let me tell you, man, and this is my opinion. So
But
I
he's
could be
worse
wrong.
now.
But this is my opinion. Well, he's worse now. But listen, when Marquez fought Pacquiao the third time, people were saying, "Oh, Marquez is gonna get bludgeoned. Look at what Pacquiao did to Hatton and Cotto." Hey, styles make fights, and what happened? Marquez gave him hell, and a lot of people thought he won the third fight. So styles make fights, and like Gonzalo said, Golovkin still has the punching power. He still has the chin, and he still has that
BDA.
shotgun jab.
BDA.
Hold on, please don't
Finish.
interrupt me.
Let
Please don't
BDA
interrupt me.
finish.
And he has that shotgun jab that really throws Canelo's rhythm off because Canelo likes to fight in
Can I
spurts. And
respond
while
to you,
he's
BDA, after you're done?
jeez, Luis. And while Canelo's trying to rest, that jab is still in his face. So it's still a good fight. I don't see this point that people make about Canelo's just going to run through him. If he does, I'll be very surprised. But let me tell you, the zone certainly feels like they need to put Triple G in there against Canelo in order to make up for the money that they paid him. But anyway, Red Reed, yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, so we all know what the Triple G's motivation is here, and this is the last little paycheck he takes before he retires. This is not he knows he can't beat Canelo on the cards, and he's definitely not knocking him out. This fight is a waste of time. Canelo, he sees an easy fight, plus he'll make a lot of money. So why wouldn't he take the fight? I don't blame him. So like, what is the purpose of this fight?
This
That
is
sounds
a
like an Arlo fight
glorified
too, but you want that fight.
Wait,
It sounds
wait,
exactly
what do
like
you
the
mean?
Arlo fight, but you
Because
want that.
listen, the GGG,
That's your opinion.
both the first one and the second one did big pay-per-view numbers. It was still a big fight, and till this day, people are still gonna buy because they're both.
He's 40.
They're both still great fighters.
Even
and it's
even
always
Jimmy,
a competitive
Jimmy's
fight.
a big fan of Triple G. He just said he should have retired.
Bro, this is what I'm saying, okay? Around the time when Canelo and Triple G fought, you had a president who was pushing anti-Mexican sentiments, so a lot of these guys wanted to look for a guy who could beat the Mexican star. They all supported Triple G, and when they found out he couldn't do it and he failed, they stopped supporting him. That's why his ticket sales...
Okay, now Jimmy, let me just Jimmy. Let me hold on. All right, L-Dog. See, that's the thing. You got to keep the trolling to a minimum because it's pretty transparent when you're doing it.
That wasn't a troll, dude.
Yeah, it was, man. Because where's your proof for that?
Okay. I don't have proof. What I have is a hypothesis.
Okay.
All right.
Why
You keep saying that. All right, Eldo, you keep saying that. Hold on. All right, well, we're not going to consider that. If a hypothesis, you can't just hypothesize without proof. That's number one. All right, Thunderdome.
Let me ask you this.
Hold on, please. Hold on. All right, we got Thunderdome dropping by. Thunderdome, are you there?
Yo, what up?
Hey, Thunderdome, thank you for dropping by, man. I wanted to ask you, man, because we're getting into this whole fucking Triple G. What's the point of him fighting him? Blah blah blah. But let me ask you about the DAZN. I don't know if you heard the news. Supposedly Canelo picked Bivol and Golovkin, aka the DAZN deal, and they're saying that this Bivol fight is going to be pay-per-view. I think you are a DAZN subscriber, right? So if you are a DAZN subscriber, okay. Well, what do you think about this move of charging pay-per-view?
I mean, they shouldn't. But I understand it because that's probably the only way they could get the fight done with the amount of money that they had to pay out for the deal. I don't agree with it, but I understand why they did it. It's
Thunderdome, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How about yourself?
What's up,
Good,
man?
brother.
Doing good, man.
Oh yeah.
Well, listen. I mean,
I think if Triple G, when he fights Murat in Japan, I mean, the Super Saitama Arena holds 37,000 tickets. Seats. Apologies. And I think he will sell a lot of pay-per-views, well, especially for the Japan fight, because a lot of Japanese fans will want to see Murata beat Triple G. If that's what they're hoping for. I mean, I think he'll personally sell a lot of PPV because Murata is quite big in Japan. And no offense, Japan is the first world country. It's not a third world shit state. You know what I mean? That people can't afford nothing.
I want to add something to that. Yeah, because last year when they were going to fight on New Year's Eve on Bloody Elbow, they were reporting that fight is worth estimated 120 million. Just that fight. Now I get it. That's on New Year's Eve. Is he still going to fight? I take it he's still going to fight Murata because they said they would reschedule it.
Yeah, he's going to fight around. They're saying around March, April time. I mean, look, when Mike Tyson fought in Japan, you know, and no offense, you know, I can't remember who he fought. Was it Bone Crusher Smith or what? I can't remember the guy's name. Those tickets, when I was looking on the internet, they were like minimum $250 at that time in 1980, whatever it was, 87. So, trust me, I've been to MMA events in Japan, and they're not cheap. The cheapest tickets are probably about $40, all ranging up to about a couple $1,000. That's MMA, let alone a top man like Triple G coming over.
Everything in Japan is expensive.
Oh yeah, exactly. This is a big fight in. This is a big fight in Japan. When I was doing like research on Murata, he's a big star in Japan.
Yeah,
and they're having it at I think one of the biggest stadiums in Japan. It's going to do a lot of numbers. It's probably going to sell out the arena.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
so once again, Triple G is going to be the B side and get all the credit for selling these tickets, but when he goes and fights someone on his own, it ain't going to sell shit.
Yeah, maybe, man. Now,
what does that have to do with talent, though?
It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is this fight with Okay, if we want to go into talent, we can go into that. Triple G is not a great fighter anymore. He's an okay fighter. I would hesitate. Yeah, he's washed, man. And it's clear to anyone who
having to get in your head.
Right, I know it's hard to accept the truth sometimes. Okay, when it comes to a guy who you're a fan of, you have some.
I'm really listening to you say this. Like, okay, just name one moment where you have any evidence of him being washed, like anything in his last few fights.
Derevyanchenko.
What about that fight? What about it?
He was piecing him up. I thought Derevyanchenko won.
Yeah, but like you said, you thought, hey, a lot of people thought Golovkin won both Canelo fights, but you keep saying that Canelo couldn't beat him. So hey, Derevyanchenko couldn't beat Triple G. He's not washed. He still got a loss left. Now listen,
it doesn't have to do with
all right. I get
the hospitalized for 4 days.
I get the point.
Yeah, go ahead. Was a tough fighter, right? He fought Charlo, went to decisions.
And
he's known for giving out wars, right? Yeah. Okay. So also most of the blows that he landed in the fight was low blows. Also, didn't GGG drop him? Did GGG not drop him? I think in the first round. Am I correct?
Yeah, he did. Well, listen, I don't understand why Triple G triggers guys like Rare Breed and L-Dog. Well, L-Dog I know he's trolling, but Rare Breed is the one that you can tell he interrupts, he jumps in. So
like Triple G's
overrated. Okay, L-Dog, of course you have to stay. Hold on. L-Dog, you have to stay in character. But obviously, you're not going to admit, I'm trolling. That's always that would take away the point of trolling. But anyway, listen, we're going to move away from this Golovkin thing because I think we're going in circles here. We get it. Some people feel like he's not deserving of the fight. Other people do.
The only thing I want to say, one last thing.
Real quick, fellas. All right, final comment. All right, final comment from Kenshiro, and then we got to move on to something else because we're limited time here. Go ahead, Kenshiro.
Let's just see what happens after the Murata fight, and then we can see what people say about Triple G. I think that's the
exactly. There you go. See that ends it all right there. We'll see what happens with the Murata. If he looks like shit against Murata, then I'll be right there with you guys. Now look,
he looked like shit against Derevyanchenko, and his fanboys said he looked like the second coming of Christ.
Well, okay, nobody here said that, so I don't know where you bring those guys up. All right, but hold on, fellas, don't make me mute people, please. I don't want to mute people, please. I don't want to mute people. I'm going back to something that's in the news here. This is really disturbing. Teofimo Lopez Sr. went on Punch Drunk and he said, my son is going to F up Josh Taylor. Now this guy, you want to talk about delusional. Here's what he said. These people don't understand that these warriors give their life, bro. people don't like me to tap away because I believe in my son. And they hate that for some reason. First of all, again, the delusion. People hate me because I have trust in my son. Yeah, it has nothing to do with all the talking this guy does, the disrespect he shows to everybody.
News.
When he goes, what?
The fight is official. Bivol and Canelo.
Yeah,
we already knew that, Mitch.
Wait,
breaking news. I thought it was something to do with Russia, Ukraine, or something.
Oh, man. Just talking about it?
Yes.
Oh my. No, I thought we were talking about it like being the works. I even know.
No.
I just looked on Twitter.
All right, I got you.
No.
Anyway, this is what he said about Josh Taylor, Theo Sr. He says, I promise you something, bro. I'm doing his voice. This is our fucking year. We have 1 ESPN and 2 pay-per-view deals, fights rather. Trust me, we're fucking that boy Josh Taylor's ass up. We're going to keep hitting him and whooping his... All right, so guys, I mean, we talked about Triple G and see how he looks in April. What do you guys think about Teofimo Lopez? Are you waiting in anticipation to see how he looks, to see what he has left, if anything? Or what's going on with this Teofimo Lopez and his family, man? They're unhinged.
I'm curious to see how hard his father hits since they're both fighting Joshua. Josh Taylor.
Once Josh Taylor
doesn't have fans, man. He just has other fighters' haters. That's it. He don't got fans, man.
Listen, once Josh Taylor beats Jack, I'm not being funny. Don't be surprised if he's trying to go for Crawford. Unless there's some big money going around for Teofimo Lopez, why he wants to hang around 144?
Yep, he's huge for that weight.
Yeah, I agree with Kenshiro. I feel like a lot of people think Taylor is no threat to Crawford, but I don't think it makes any sense.
On the Breakdown Rule podcast, Bob Arum came out and said that he wants to move up and he wants to go up for Josh Taylor. So unless people is jumping up to welterweight, that's not going to happen.
And did you see Bob said he'd make the Crawford fight?
Is that fight going to happen though with Crawford's situation?
It'll have to happen because Taylor's the WBO super champ. He can mandate the fight, and if Crawford doesn't want to do business with Arum, he's got to vacate the belt.
I think Crawford would want to do business. I mean, he's right now kind of itching for a fight. And he kind of realized. Yeah. So I believe he would take in a second. I think he'd be surprised that Bob would do it, but Bob would have that'd be alternative motives because you know how good that would make him look in court. Oh wait a minute, you mean the racist guy that you filed a lawsuit against, and then he turned around and offered you a fight, making fucking anywhere between $5 and $7 million when nobody else would even touch you.
Listen, I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny. Look at Josh Taylor. He beat Ramirez, who was 26-0. He beats Kasong, who was 16-0. Progress was 24-0. Baranchek, 19-0. Martin, 22-0. And Pistol, 29-1. That's 136 wins and 1 loss. So, he's not a fool. I mean, he might be second behind Canelo in terms of pound for pound. Fuck Crawford and Spence.
He also beat Ryan Martin. Ryan Martin, who was an undefeated Black American.
Yeah, he was a blue chipper considered. That wasn't his nickname, blue chip. But my thing with Josh, and I props all those things you said. I agree with everything you just said. Talented kid, but the fucking fighting 1 time a year for the last 3 years, or he's only fought 3 times. Oh, that's not good. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no in between.
Absolutely,
yeah, he's got to step up a bit more. I mean, I'm not saying this is an excuse, and I'm hoping this is his reason. Hoping that is because of COVID and he wanted to get the fans there. But now he's got no excuse to start stepping up 3 times a year or whatever.
I want to see Taylor fight Crawford, man. I like Taylor's chances. I've been very high on Taylor since the Prograis fight. I actually didn't think the Prograis fight was as close as people said it was. I think it was a competitive fight. I don't think it was very close. I had a 9-3 for Josh Taylor.
I think if Taylor fought Crawford, and if he beat Crawford, and then Spence does beat Ugas, then we can see a unification undisputed at 147.
Taylor's bigger than Crawford too. If you look at him side by side,
Taylor's huge.
No, he's not. Now, I think Crawford.
He really is.
He's
Taylor's 5'11".
He's taller than him, but you can tell Crawford has way more muscle than him.
Crawford. Right now,
man.
But Taylor.
Well, he'd be moving up. He'd be moving up to fight him, so you'd have like a matter of a few months, and he's not going to be able to put on that much weight. You can look at his limbs. You always look at a fighter's limbs, like his wrists, his ankles. You can look at those insertion points and always tell how much muscle building capacity someone has. And Crawford's clearly wider. He's clearly thicker. and he's also, I think, a little rangier. But
Yeah,
I still think he gives him a competitive fight.
One at a time.
Amount of detail to Crawford's body. I'm just saying from what I saw when
Yeah,
Taylor.
bro, I'm really fucking.
No, right. Hold on.
No. I'm just
I'm a
saying from
huge
what
bag.
I'm just saying. Well, bro, you got to be careful what you say. What I'm saying is when I saw them on the top rank real time.
I like Taylor's chances in that fight. You know, when Crawford gets older, because time is not on Crawford's side. You know, he's already, I think, 34, almost
35.
So, yeah, I mean, 35. Yeah, he's 35.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's 34.
You can't be in your prime forever, man. So I think he should fight Taylor now when he actually has a chance.
Crawford is 35 in September.
Oh, so he's 34, but I think he should fight Taylor now so he has a chance. But
now, let's say they fight at one. Oh, sorry. Yeah, let's say they fight at 147, right? Crawford has shown that when he wants to, he can pressure guys, and because he punches so hard, and oftentimes he's much bigger than his opponents, he can get away with that. So if he pressures Josh Taylor, the guy that was able to do it with technique was Ramirez in his last fight, and we saw Taylor clinching a lot, something that he's not usually used to. We're used to seeing from him. So what do you guys think? What would his chances be like against Crawford if Crawford starts putting it on him?
He will clinch. He's gonna clinch.
So wait, if Crawford puts it
like
on
a bitch,
Taylor?
he's gonna clinch like a bitch.
If Crawford puts it on Josh Taylor, will Josh Taylor crumble?
Oh no,
I don't think so. I think he can make. He showed in that Ramirez fight. He makes adjustments. He can find different angles. I don't know if he'll crumble. Like I don't know if he'll be able to win. But I don't think he's gonna fall and crumble. He'll do Scottish, right? Because
when Crawford pressures him, he's gonna clinch and to reset it. Like he did with Ramirez when he clinched Ramirez, and then Ramirez was going out. He punched Ramirez when he was not looking.
Taylor clinches like Bernard Hopkins, but does it on a better level, I feel.
I mean, to be honest with you, like clinching with Crawford is just not a good strategy. Crawford clearly has a much better stand-up grappling game than most boxers.
Is not dumb either. This dude's gonna outbox Crawford because Crawford can be outboxed. Like when Crawford actually starts winning fights is when he starts putting the pressure on and brings it into a slugfest.
But how do you know Josh Taylor will handle his power though, Aldog?
Bro, I can look at Josh Taylor and I can tell he can take his power.
I don't see this like.
Just look at him and tell.
Has Josh been knocked down in his fights?
He handled Progress' power.
Yeah, but Prograde doesn't have as much power as Crawford, and it was at 140, not 147.
Okay, what I'm saying is I can usually look at someone's skull and tell how well they can take a punch.
You mean like how their chin size or something like that?
Thunderdome, go ahead. Yeah, let Thunderdome go. Go ahead, Thunderdome.
Well, he handled Progress power just fine at 140. I get it. That's a 140. That's him also really not at his best weight. Honestly, he should be fighting higher. So going up, he's only going to be able to take a punch even better. And Crawford, yeah, he hits better than Progress. I would say myself. So him moving up, it's going to even it out. It really will. He's going to be able to handle his power just fine. It's not that Crawford can't knock him out, but if he zaps him with one shot, he ain't falling down.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting matchup because, Taylor has never handled someone with that kind of limb size, and that's kind of Crawford's bread and butter. Is the fade back and from an angle. He has. He's fought. Joseph Benavidez.
He has, but he hasn't dealt well with it. He gets out boxed.
Has Taylor ever been knocked down though? Has he had a problem with somebody's power?
No.
He's never touched the canvas, and he's fought guys like Baranchik in his prime, and we have to make that distinction because Baranchik was actually pretty good prior to the Taylor fight. It was the Taylor fight that fucked him up. He took Baranchik's power fine. He took Progray's power fine. He took Ramirez's power fine. Like, he took all these guys' power fine. And, Crawford could punch, but I can look at Taylor and I can say he's going to fill up well at 147. It's not like this is a tiny guy, who's going to have to be doing fucking bodybuilding workouts, drinking protein shakes in the middle of the night to, get up there. This is a guy who's going
to... We're not talking about Regis Progray at 147.
Yeah, this is
power, though.
Taylor.
Versus a really drained version of Taylor, because that guy should be fighting at 47, honestly. I think he'll just be better at 47. Like better pound for pound.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be the same way that Bud moved up to 47. He got better.
But can I say something? I think Taylor's
one at a time, boys.
I think Taylor's 140 undisputed run was better than Bud's.
Oh, 100%.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's true, but that doesn't necessarily make you a better fighter.
No.
Yeah, I agree with
handled
that.
He handled stiffer competition better.
Yeah, but again, that doesn't make you a better fighter.
Well, it kind of does. I mean, in one way,
I mean, Porter had a better resume than Crawford at 47, but who won the fight?
I mean, again, it's like, Pacquiao usually beat guys better than Floyd did, but then Floyd whooped his ass. It doesn't matter. Like, what matters is...
You always bring that shit up as annoying.
Like, what matters is, like, what you can actually do.
Pacquiao knocked everybody Floyd fought. Well, bitch, what happened when they fought?
He beat him.
It's kind of hard to say
fight that he didn't even
beat him. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of hard to say, like,
no, we're not gonna get into this.
There were like 200
That's a
thrown
much more
punches.
rational
Anyone beat
statement than
anyone's
saying
ass.
Floyd
Like,
whooped his ass. Floyd didn't do shit. He fucking hugged and clinched the whole fucking
Ran
time.
all night.
he ain't hugging clinch either, but like that was a very slow pace fight anyway.
All right, hold on. I just came back. I just came back and I see. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but in regards to this Taylor-Crawford thing, first of all, can this fight even be made? Because Crawford's in a lawsuit right now. He's in litigation with Top Rank. And Josh Taylor, of course, is with Top Rank. So what's the like? Is there a point to talking about this? You guys think or
mandate?
Meaning, Bob Aaron on the 3 knockdown rule, and he said that the lawsuit is nonsense. So he doesn't care about that thing. He wants Josh Taylor to move up. So it's very likely. Or thing.
All right. Well, it's interesting.
I don't know. It sounds like we're kind of in a situation where we either get a Josh Taylor fight with Terrence Crawford or a fucking Errol Spence fight. It doesn't sound like we're gonna get both. I know that's asking for too much with the way boxing is nowadays. I don't think we're getting both of them, but fuck, I forgot what I was saying.
Well, listen, that's but it's an interesting point to make, and it's an interesting fight to look forward to. But it's like how much do we really want to look forward to it if it might never happen? I also wanted to bring up, speaking of Terrence Crawford, he came out here a couple of days ago. Yeah, he mentioned that look, if Castaño's out of the Jermell Charlo fight, that he would be willing to go into it. What do you guys think about? Like, let's say a Charlo Crawford fight were to happen, who would you guys pick and why?
Crawford by slaughter.
Whoa.
That's a bold statement.
Too big for him.
Mel's
like Deontay Wilder. I would say because Mel is like Deontay Wilder. He loses a lot of rounds, but he always gets that one punch in. And that's but that's not going to work. Yeah, that's not going to work.
Versus who?
Mel. 54 versus Crawford.
You think
he loses a lot of rounds,
like Deontay Wilder.
I don't know, man. Crawford has been losing a lot of rounds too in his fight.
Who's that fighter from Detroit that Mel fought?
What?
Tony Harrison.
Tony Harrison. He was outboxing. Yeah, he was outboxing Crawford for both of those fights, but he doesn't have a chance, so he lost.
No.
The first fight, like you could say he was outboxing him. I don't agree. I think that was a robbery. The second fight, they fought toe to toe, and Mel dropped him twice. Like, I don't see any resemblance between Jermell and Deontay Wilder at all.
Wouldn't you say Harrison was winning that second fight? I thought he was.
Bro, I thought he was.
He was close, but he was knocked down a few times.
He didn't get knocked down then.
He was having a good way in a few middle of the fight, like a few middle rounds. He was doing well on the inside. But, I mean, Mel knocked him down and stopped him.
Anybody.
Bro, Charlo does lose rounds, bro. Like,
so does Crawford. He got outboxed by PBC's fourth best guy.
Who?
For those 10 rounds. Porter outboxed Crawford. If you go back and watch that fight,
dude.
Well, you're wrong. You don't know when punches land, and you don't know shit about boxing. Sorry to tell you that.
Oh boy.
Yeah. No, I disagree with you 100%. I don't see Porter outboxing
the judges and what most.
But he actually did. If you look at when the punches land, he didn't outland him at all.
Yeah, except
and the quality of punches weren't good at all.
Yeah, but the
Crawford
quality of
was
punches,
outboxing
Porter's
him,
weren't
bro.
very
His
good.
defense wasn't good
Crawford
either.
was hitting him with really solid body shots throughout. They were sneaky and hard to see. I mean, like, you can score a fight many different
Sneaky
ways.
body shots
It's
that
not just
had
a punch
nothing to
count.
do with the finish, anyways. Like,
I don't know. I wouldn't say.
Yeah, they
Porter-
actually had everything to do with the finish because that's exactly
no,
the
they
angle he
didn't.
set it up.
He fucking
Oh
ran
yeah, it
into
didn't.
those
Like he would
shots.
fade
Go
back.
look at
He
those
would throw his
finishes.
left hook
No,
to
he
the
ran
body
right into
the
those
same way
shots.
he
Because
threw that
Porter
left
always
uppercut.
drops the ball. Porter is a bum that drops the ball every single time in his big fights.
Bruh, oh my god. Bruh, is this just hate on a black man day or something?
Yeah, I mean that has nothing to do
They're
with like
both
the
black. What
tactics
the
or
fuck are
strategy
you
for it.
talking
So
about?
whatever.
I get that
Well,
you
no,
like
but
dick ride every single other
I
ethnicity.
see what
Dog,
he's trying to say,
you know,
though.
you can
because-
shut the fuck up.
Because think about it. He lost against Thurman, lost against fucking Kell Brook. You could argue for a draw against Spence, if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
But all those big fights, I don't know, if you consider Danny Garcia a big fight or Adrian Broner a big fight, then sure. But with the elite level, he didn't match up as good as a lot of people thought he would.
Real quick, I don't think you could argue that the Spence fight was a draw because there was the knockdown. So it's either if it's 6-6, Spence wins. If it's 7-5, Porter wins by a point. So it's like, to me, Spence won that fight. Like, it was close, it was competitive, but Porter
I agree with you, 100%.
He's consistently proven that he is actually a top level fighter. I mean, he beat guys who were good. He beat Danny Garcia. He beat your Dennis Ugas. He gave Errol Spence a hell of a fight. He gave Kell Brook a good fight.
He gave Crawford a good fight in the beginning too.
He actually did.
Too much.
He got the win.
He actually did beat Ugas. You can go check the film even and watch who got their hand raised.
Film? You don't know shit about boxing, so that means
Porter could crack.
I know enough to know the guy who gets the hand raised wins.
Not dog. You don't even have to do that. Just look
you don't know shit about boxing.
Yeah, I mean, you can look up BoxRec.
pull
Like,
up
it's pretty
BoxRec.
obvious Ugas won. I mean,
So even so,
I mean, Porter won.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
robbery.
You admitted it.
Sorry, I was thinking about the Pacquiao fight. That Ugas
Nah, buddy.
So Canelo Golovkin was a draw or something like that, right? Holyfield. Lennox.
I mean, it
First
was.
Canelo Golovkin was a draw. Second
He
one,
just
Canelo
goes
Bivol.
with the decision
Beat
just
him,
to
though,
troll
huh?
people. That's it. He's not a serious person.
Bro, that's how
When
reality
he is
works.
serious,
though.
and when he is
Don't know
serious,
enough
he
to
don't know
actually
shit
be
what he's talking
serious.
about.
That's how reality works, dude. Like, whoever gets their hand raised
Reality
wins
is
the fight
reality.
and
We
moves on.
see who
Yeah,
wins
we
the
can
fight
read
truly,
off
and there's a
boxing.
thing
Like,
called a
that's not
robbery
what we're doing here.
or a bad decision. That's a thing in boxing. That's
Look,
reality.
whatever. What the point was
Whatever, yeah.
Porter proved
Instead
he
of
was a
just
top
acknowledging I
fighter.
was correct. Whatever.
Porter proved he was a top fighter, and I think it's ridiculous that people are calling him a bum. Like bro,
that's
boxing fans got to stop this shit. All right.
I mean, he ran right into those uppercuts. Like, they weren't like he was literally parallel to the ground. Look at that knockdown. It was some bum shit. Maybe he's not a bum, but he definitely does some like low level shit.
It's not
Embarrassing
a
when you
bum or
rewind.
low level
tough
thing.
for
You don't
anybody.
understand the
That
angles
is.
that
He
Crawford
ran right into
limited
the punch. That is
because he had no other options. They had
What do
no
you mean,
other
no other
options.
option?
Crawford
Bro,
baited
this is-
Crawford
no
baited
other
him.
option.
like a
Crawford,
meme.
can I just make a fucking statement? Holy shit! Like, if you watch that fight, Crawford was baiting him with his jab all night. Like, he made him attack from one triangle. He had no other angles to attack from. So his only
That's
way
not
of
true.
winning
He
that
was
fight
literally like,
was
what
to
are
move
you
forward
talking about?
and throw that right hand.
Either way, let's not act like
Dude, the problem with some people when they watch boxing,
He's excited.
One at a time, guys.
Quit talking over people, dog.
the problem
Gonna go now.
The
Go ahead,
problem
go.
with some people when they watch boxing is they slow it down so much that they microanalyze every frame. Look, try being in there. It's a lot harder than what you think. Like, that's the thing. It's so,
Like, you
I've
haven't
actually
been in there.
boxed.
What does
and it's
having being
difficult.
hard in there have to do with anything?
Well,
Like,
let me
Like,
explain
What?
something. Can I explain something real quick? Hold on, just please, just 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, in real time for a fighter like, let's say, Porter, he has to try a lot harder than maybe like a Triple G. I'm gonna use your own example. Because Triple G punches harder. He can afford to do certain moves that maybe Sean Porter cannot do, because he has to go in there and force the fight because he doesn't have that type of punching power. he has to go in there kind of square footed to where Rebry was saying, because he has no other choice. With Triple G, he could get behind the jab and attack from a certain angle because he's trying to set up that right hand. And if you're his opponent, you're going to try to stay away from that right hand. So you're going to force your opponent to do other things and box more cautiously. If you're Sean Porter and you're rushing inside to smother your opponent so your opponent can't get a chance to hit you back because you want to have it to where he's not in position to punch and you're Sean Porter, you want to be on the inside, force the fight and keep yourself from distance enough to like where your opponent can punch you once again. Yeah, you're going to do that because for one, you don't want to get caught because you probably like, you don't have the punching power to exchange with the fighter for one. So you got to get in there close. And for another, yeah, man, you get hurt too, man. That's what, you have no choice. If you're Sean Porter, that's what you got to do.
Can I ask one question? After we get through this subject, I just want to ask about another potential matchup. So when we get through with this one, can BDA will let me know so I can ask my question, please? Thank you.
Bro, but like to me, what I'm saying is there's a reason boxers they post this meme of a guy who's sitting on like the couch, you know, eating junk food, saying, "Oh, if I was that guy, I would have did this, that, the third, you know, whatever." It's because when you're in there, shit's different. Okay, watching in slow motion, our brain, especially after the fight, when we know what's happened, we know what's coming, we can convince ourselves that. Hold on, bro. You're interrupting, bro. You're interrupting, bro. You're interrupting, bro.
Because you're talking about me.
No, I'm not talking about you.
So you
I'm
slow
saying,
down to show people
dude,
like you
hold on,
can't
bro.
see clearly what's really happening.
Let's get along now.
Bro, okay. But here's the thing. What happens is people convince themselves that if they were in there, they would know what to do. You know, oh, if this guy threw a jab, I would have slipped to the outside, pivoted around him, hit him with a 5-punch combination. It's like, yeah, try doing that shit when that fucking fist is coming at you really fucking fast. You're tired, your muscles are aching. It's difficult. That's why boxers, they don't really listen to fucking casuals, man. They don't listen to our opinions.
Any of that. No one ever says what he should have did. It's just what happened.
Okay, but it's your interpretation of what happens.
No, it's not.
What happened?
And I guess to simplify it, because I know what he's trying to get at. I guess to simplify it is if you watch the build up to the third fight between Fury and Wilder, you see Wilder throw these fucking massive combinations, and all he threw in the fight was a jab straight and a left hook. That's all he threw. He didn't throw any of those big, like, fucking triple left hooks to the body. But that's what he drilled. He just couldn't get it in there.
Bro, what I'm saying is when you're in there, it's not so easy, man.
No, he's saying when you watch them slow-mo, you're basically like diluting yourself because you're saying it was an extreme. That's
not necessarily.
I see the exact same thing in real time. I only the reason you slow it down is to show people who can't see. Like with fucking Roman Gonzalez and Estrada, when they're saying punches landed when they're clearly blocked. So we did, Johnny Boy slowed it down. We all watched it together, and you saw the punches blocked. But people were counting them. Okay,
and there's different levels. There's different levels to it. There's different levels.
Things that others can't.
And look, it just doesn't mean because you're facing a fighter that's faster, that you as a like the opponent or the challenger or the champion, when you're facing that fighter, that it's gonna be harder. No, because you can have a guy that's slower like Triple G who throws less punches, but his punches are heavier. Man, you're not gonna want to risk exchanging punches with him. So yeah, you can as a fighter like do things at a slower. You're not gonna go in there and rush to go inside the pocket and exchange with Triple G. No, even though Triple G's slower than like maybe a Sean Porter, man, you're gonna watch out for Triple G's punches. So that fight might be a little bit more cautious, and Triple G can actually like look slower and do things at a slower rate, but still he's more dangerous than the guy that throws more punches. So it all depends on the opponent that you're analyzing.
And then another thing, nobody's not forgetting, when we're looking at a fight, fight coming up, like when y'all said the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fight, we got to remember we were looking at it in a way as we're looking at Deontay Wilder's training, and he's throwing hooks, body shots, and all this and that. And as soon as he get in the ring, the whole dynamic changes, and he get back to the same shit he always does. Like, you know, so when we can't really just look at
slow motion replays and this and that. It doesn't, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Once they're in the ring, it's in real time.
Because Wilder didn't fight enough and practice his technique to make his moves secondary with like muscle memory. Like he just started too late in life. Like a lot of things you can do. You see a fighter when he's like literally out on his feet and he's still doing things. Like Arturo Gotti told me straight to my face, I do not remember the 9th round of that, the first Mickey Ward fight. He goes, dude, I had to watch it on TV. Like I remembered nothing of it. I had no memory. So everything was off muscle memory. And that's what was beat into him from training and doing shit since he was 7 years old.
That's funny that you mentioned that.
Of it.
Mickey told me the same thing. That's funny.
Oh yeah, they were both fucked up.
You could have a buzzsaw and a pricker fighter like come at you, and granted, that's probably one of the hardest styles to get off of you when you start a fight, especially when it's like the beginning of the round. Just think Cuadras versus what's that guy's name? Estrada, man. Cuadras jumped on him. But the thing, if you have decent punching power or good punching power, if you're able to time that guy, maybe you don't have to throw a lot of punches yourself. You just got to do enough to punch in between his punches and tell him, hey, man, hey, buddy, I'm right here. Be careful when you come at me because I'm gonna get you. And if I get you and I land a good punch on you, that'll be the punch that'll keep him away. So sometimes it doesn't like because I throw a lot, he throws a lot, but I have to throw a lot of punches too. You could be dangerous by throwing limited punches, but nailing the target and keeping that guy off you because that guy's gonna be like, that's like a red flag. If I step in there against Triple G, he's gonna knock my block off. So yeah, it depends on styles. If you're Sean Porter, you can come at me and I'll trade with Sean Porter all day, and it might look like a barn burner on TV. Yeah, but no, it's not that. It's easier to fight a Sean Porter, really, than what it is to fight a Golovkin who's throwing less punches because the punches that are coming, one of them, just one, can knock you out. So it's a different game, and when you're in there, it's about making it to the final bell. It's about coming with the game plan to win. It's not just coming, I'm just going to put on the show right now, this second in real time. That it changes a lot. It depends. There's a lot of variables. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry, whoever wants to speak.
Yeah, Gonzalo, like to your point about like what you can and can't do. It's always telling when a fighter starts to kind of abandon or start losing his strategy. Like in the Porter-Crawford fight, there was a clear drop-off after the 3rd round of Porter's output. And at that point, it was pretty easy to start giving Crawford those rounds because you can tell who was hurt.
Count the landed punches, not the output. That has nothing to do.
No, this is not an amateur boxing. You don't count the landed punches. Like that's not the only thing that matters. You can tell who's getting the other guy.
Too, and they were still about equal.
Hold on, just to change the quick subject because I just gotta ask y'all opinion, especially Jimmy over here. Do you guys think Castano is taking that injury because of PEDs, or do you guys think he's really injured?
Oh, that's
a good one.
That's more to speak about, actually.
Jimmy, any
on Castano, I know that. Well, put it this way: it seemed a little suspicious, and I know the WBO, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on the sanctioning body, but they ordered him to come up with medical proof, which is odd because they did it publicly. Normally, something like that they might say on a DL, but they come out and publicly said, "Okay, fine, but we want to see something that proves you're injured." And if I'm not mistaken, did they already reschedule it? So that tells me it might have been something that maybe he couldn't prove long term. I don't know. But it was just odd the way the sanctioning body came out publicly. That's my opinion.
I've never heard any other sanctioning body do that before. That's weird.
Right to come out publicly like that? Yeah, it was weird.
They're hoping the earliest will be 23rd of April.
Hey, something crazy I saw. I was going to say...
you're breaking up a little.
I said, is Castano and Canelo Alvarez's gym?
No.
All right, then I don't know if you're doing it or not. Okay.
Hey, but I was going to say, crazy I saw from the sanctioning bodies is they're thinking, the WBO was thinking of not allowing Russians to fight for their title anymore.
Damn. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That affects the better BF Smith fight. Yeah, this was like just now, just today. They said that until like Russia stops invading Ukraine, they won't let Russian boxers, fight for the title, which is insane because most Russian
But it's
athletes,
not
especially
official.
most.
It's not official. They're thinking about it though.
Yeah, but
Did you
it's
guys?
insane because most Russian fighters, like most Russian boxers, are not even Russian ethnically. They're like Chechen, like Beterbiev or Dagestani, like Butayev, and these people are thoroughly oppressed by the Russians. Like the Chechens were shelled in, I think, 2008. Brutally by the Russians. Their whole city is
And
destroyed.
you know what? And not to change the subject, but that's weird because the Chechens, that's who they call, like the Chechen death squads. They're the ones everybody in Ukraine's afraid of right now. And I want to say, too, there was rumors right before I got on the show that they caught Klitschko's brother, Vital. I guess he's number 7 on the list of people to get. Vitaly, yeah. And supposedly, and did you see they brought a portable crematorium with them? So they don't want to bury them or whatever. They're going to burn all the fucking people they get.
Yeah, but did you hear on Twitter how Lomachenko was getting slagged off for apparently leaving Ukraine? And I'm thinking, he's not.
He was already in Greece, though. But he was already in Greece. He wasn't in Ukraine. Yeah. Ugas is, though, which makes me nervous.
I don't understand why people are slagging off Lomachenko. Like, he's not Sylvester Stallone in Rambo. This ain't a fucking Rambo movie. This is like real life going on. You know what I mean?
He would have tried to get back in. They couldn't get back in. He wouldn't have been able to get back into the Ukraine. It would have been difficult.
Did you say Ugas is in Ukraine?
Yes. Ugas is there.
They're Cuban.
Not Ugas. Uzak. Whatever. Alexander.
I was going to say, what the fuck is Ugas doing there?
Yeah, one of those weird ass names.
Hey, catch him, David.
One more question though. Jimmy,
one at a time, guys.
Okay, no, what I'm going to ask you, Jimmy, is when Castaño versus Mel Charlo fought, who did you personally thought that won that fight?
Castaño.
Yeah, I thought Castaño won that one.
Yeah,
definitely Castaño.
But I'll just keep going. I'm done.
What was the one
I thought it was close, but yeah, I thought he won. Although, to be honest with you, I probably think I think Charlo might win the rematch because Castaño's not going to change what he is. He is what he is. He's a pressure fighter. He's going to do the exact same thing he did last time. Charlo is very athletic, although in his heart I don't find him to be a fighter. I think he's more of a superb athlete. But he still has different things he could do to neutralize Castaño's attack if he implements it.
Hey, Jimmy, that's exactly how I see the fight. First fight, I actually picked Castaño for the upset. I felt like he won. But it's like, the thing about Charlo is this. He makes fights harder for himself. Like, he can't make these adjustments like a Crawford can. Because, again, he's not a natural fighter. He just doesn't have that instinct. I feel like, it's almost like the second time around, he's got like a long time to prepare. He's got a team around him who are going to tell him what to do. It's his fight to lose, really, at this point.
Agreed.
I think he'll stop Castaño.
Yeah, I've noticed that about both brothers.
I thought Jamal Charlo at least won by 1 point. You know what I'm saying? But it was very, very close, and I can respect the draw. It was a real good fight. Hopefully the rematch is a pay-per-view. I'm hoping because it does deserve that. But that's just my opinion.
I don't think it is. I think it's on Showtime, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think L-Dog made a good point. I've seen that about both brothers, that they tend to shell up whenever they're hit. And that's like their natural reaction. They don't think once they're hurt. They start to just kind of go in their shell. And that's why Jevchenko had a lot of success on Maul and why Castaño was able to pressure him. You couldn't believe. You could see it, like the shock on Mel's face when Castaño was moving forward through his jabs. He obviously never seen that, and he didn't believe that to be happening.
Yeah, man, I really want Charlo to become undisputed because I don't know, man. I really like him,
but hang on. If
one thing I like about boxing.
If Charlo becomes undisputed, what's going to happen then? Do you think Charlo's going to vacate and move up, or he's going to hang about for a while?
I think he's going to move up because I know his brother's already moving up to 168. So, and I know they don't want to fight each other. I think they're going to go the Vasily and Vladimir route. And that's just my prediction. I don't know exactly, but I think that's the best way to go about it because I know that Canelo still haven't signed the contract. Everybody say he's going to go to Bivol, but then again, everybody else says that it's still too close to call. But most likely, I think Canelo going to take the easy route and go to Bivol.
It's confirmed.
Wait a minute. How's Bivol easy?
You go, Jimmy.
I'm sorry. No, Bivol is a 50-50 fight. Don't get me wrong, but like if he takes the PBC route, he'll have to fight because it was $100 million contract, so he'll have to fight Triple G, and he also is going to have to fight. Fight not Triple G, but Benavidez and Charlo.
The
Hey,
PBC
real
one is
quick,
two tough fights.
real quick, dude. With all due respect, like the only way, like a 50-50 fight is the easy route is if you favor both guys to kick his ass. And the fucking other route, like 50-50 means like it's literally gonna be tough as hell.
It's a give me, yeah.
Yeah,
But let me-
the route he goes, it's going to be tough as hell, regardless. But okay, and I am grateful that because I'm so grateful that he's not trying to fight Okuda Matata no more because that was just some bullshit to me. And so whichever one he does take, I respect it. And I won't talk shit about him if he win. I'll be like, yo, he won that fair and square, dog. He might have been on a little bit of PEDs, but I ain't mad at him, man. He at least he stepped up, and that's how I look at it.
Hang on, I got a question. So if Charlo becomes undisputed and he moves up, now forgive me, I'm not an expert. Hopefully you guys can explain. What happens to all the best? Do they all split up like Dragon Ball Z balls, or what happens?
It would whoever's ranked number one in each belt, or whoever has any junior belts, if there's any junior belts at 154, they would go into it. Would each sanctioned body would match them up? It's never like it's
just go and grab them all.
Now, Kashiro, didn't you say you had a question you wanted to ask or something you wanted to ask, but you were going to ask BDA, but I don't think he was here. So do you still want to ask that?
No, it wasn't about no. I just asked BDA to remind me. No, I was going to ask about the Chano fighting. Who do you guys think going to win? Black Chibi beat me to it and just asked the question outright.
Okay.
Yeah, I got like a situation because in Ukraine, I'm pretty sure the men over like 18 to 60 cannot leave the country. Now Usyk went back. What's going to happen with those belts at heavyweight? Because if he can't defend them, surely they're going to have to go vacant, right?
I don't think that's what's going to happen. Didn't the same thing happen like a long time ago when Hitler and the guy who was fighting from Germany had ended up being Joe Louis? And like I don't think that the war is gonna have anything to do with boxing because at the end of the day it's a sport.
I didn't know
But
what
if he's
happened.
killed-
There's an echo, man.
Yeah, you're echoing bad, Chibi. You have a bad connection. The problem is Usyk. Then I doubt Russia because he's a high, obviously one of the most famous people coming from that country. It would maybe be good propaganda if they caught him, because he's going to want anything to make them look good. So I doubt they're going to execute him. I mean, Klitschko, the mayor, on the other hand, I think if they do get their hands on him, he's a dead man. But I think Usyk, if they caught him, they would let him go.
Well, Klitschko's been more vocal, but here's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, Usyk, I don't know if he's going to be able to fight because he can't leave the country. How's he going to stage a training camp there? It doesn't look like he wants to leave and fight. It looks like his cause of concern is what's happening in Ukraine. So it's like...
It is right now, but I think it's going to fall by the end of the weekend. I think it'll be just insurgents mopping it up at the end. I think it's going to be a bloody insurgency.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, once the government falls, then that mandate of anybody 18 to 60 can't leave. And then you're going to see about 5 million refugees heading for the Polish border.
I really don't know how that's going to play out. I really don't, because I honestly don't think that it's going to interfere with boxing. Because, like I said, I think I was breaking up the last time. Because you remember when Hitler was running through stuff and whatnot. The German boxer fought Joe Louis and even beat Joe Louis and everything. So I think everything when it comes to sports or even the Olympics, that I think that's still going to come into play. But I don't think it's going to.
We weren't at war. I believe at this time we fought them.
That was
we weren't at
38.
war with Hitler. Yeah, so it
Are you
was
serious?
yes, it was 3 years before. We didn't declare war on Germany. Well, actually, they declared war on us along with Japan. After we declared war on Japan, Germany declared war on us. So it was the end of December 1941.
Hold on, I'm looking it up right now. I'm gonna let y'all know. Give me a second.
Yeah, the second fight with Joe Louis and Max Schmeling was in 38. So that was actually a year before the Second World War had its start. So there wasn't an issue there, but it's just interesting because it's will the bouts at heavyweight get tied up? Will Loma even be able to fight Kambosos? I mean, he's not in the country, but I mean, shit, who knows?
Yeah, he will. He's in Greece. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
he's supposed to be in Greece, and he's going to go to Australia for training camp.
Well, listen,
what's that?
Is that definitely happening now?
Well, no, I'm actually Eddie Hearn just came out and said that Kambosos wants Haney, which I don't blame him. He prefers it. So it's nothing said yet, man. Nothing said yet.
Fight.
I mean, hey.
But here's another thing. What if Loma? Okay, we know where Loma is, but what about his dad?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is he in the shit right now?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's right. Shit.
Because what if you think I think Loma would fight without him, but then again, that's well, what the fuck? He's fought with him his whole life. There's a lot of things to consider, man.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
we'll
if
see
his dad's actually fighting, I think he'd go back with his father.
It depends on how long the whole invasion lasts. If it finishes pretty early, in the next couple of days or weeks, I mean, I don't think it'll be a huge issue unless he gets injured or something.
Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, we'll see what happens. It's all speculation at this moment, and but like Jimmy said, the mainstream media more than anything is the one that's playing this whole thing up like it's World War III, and it really isn't. I mean, nobody said it was World War III when the U.S. invaded Iraq, and so we'll see what happens. But I wanted to say something here about Demetrius Andrade because Eddie Hearn just came out and said that he bothered to bid on the fight. But he wasn't willing to go all out to win it because he says that Andrade versus Zach Parker just wouldn't sell either in the US or in the UK. And he says you have to be realistic about these things. Now, they're also saying that Andrade, to become the mandatory for Canelo, actually has to win 2 fights, not just this one. So, guys, what do you think about Andrade, who just continues fighting these guys? Apparently, he's earning good money for it, despite the fact that a lot of these fights are gimmies. What do you think about that?
Why don't he fight bloody Charlo at 160 or try to fight Triple G if they can make it money wise? Stop chasing Canelo, man. Stop the dress.
Well,
He doesn't want
Charlo didn't want the fight.
Canelo isn't doing it is because fucking Boo Boo's with his own.
Because he's doing this. He's doing a better deal. Canelo's doing
Recognize my brother. How you doing, brother?
Doing well.
Forget about it.
Forget
That's
about
good, my brother. Forget about it.
Well, what do you guys
Get
think
off
about
the
that?
Pontiac.
What do you guys think about that? That Eddie Hearn himself, the promoter, is saying this guy just can't sell.
Who that?
I mean, that's the truth.
He can't. Andrade, right?
Yeah. Oh, Andrade. I think he prefers to be called Andrade.
Andrade, whatever the fuck his name is. That's how important he is to me. I don't even care.
Andrade.
No, come on.
Yeah, I don't care.
The correct way to say it is Andrade. The correct way, like they would say it amongst the Portuguese, would be Andrade.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be called Andrade.
So that just proves how important he is to me. I don't give a fuck.
Come on, guys. The view count on the live stream's dropping, man. We got to change the subject to something people actually give a fuck about.
Well, the reason he can't sell because he's not facing the right guys. If he would have faced that Jalalov guy, maybe that fight goes under the radar. But after that, if you would have beat that guy, the word would have gotten around. This guy's for real. And when you face the right guys and you're considered to be like a top guy, from that point moving on forward, if you face another name, man, dude, regardless if you're a star or not, people will recognize for your skills and you would sell. Because to be honest, man, these boxers are not movie stars. They're fighters. If you can fight in the ring and you're facing the top guys, and you're pitted against the right opponent, you're gonna fucking sell, man. Whether it's Golovkin against the right guy, Errol Spence against the right guy, Terrence Crawford against the right guy, you face the right guy, you're gonna sell, dude.
Yeah, hang on. But what about
there's
Andrade? What if Andrade?
Hold on. Let Kenshiro finish. Let Kenshiro finish. Kenshiro, go ahead, man.
In terms of pay-per-view or making numbers or whatever, making a wave or name select, why don't Andrade or somebody like, or even Charles try to fight Chris Eubank in England? I think he would sell a lot of pay-per-views personally, and then try to, at least that's something to say, look, I can sell tickets and blah, blah, blah.
That's actually a pretty good fucking idea. I never thought of that. You might be onto something.
Because it's a tough fight. It's an ingenious idea.
Isn't Eubank now with Frank?
No, I think he's still with Eddie.
I thought Eddie blasted him. Oh, I thought Eddie blasted him after the Golovkin.
I mean, he did blast him with the Golovkin thing, but I don't know.
Fuck. I don't know. Was there anything from like a reliable source that says that Eddie booted him?
I never heard it.
Well, I thought he signed with Frank right after that. I thought like they had a falling out because of his father, and he left. At the time it was Matchroom. Well, I guess it still is Matchroom, but not under the zone. He might be back under that umbrella. I don't know, but I know if it was a time, I believe he left.
Well, that's the interesting thing about.
I've been watching shit illegally, and every time I've seen Eubank, he's been only on Sky Sports.
Well, then he's on Sky.
I don't know if that's
if you see him fighting there, that's where he's at then for sure.
Yeah. And now, can I say something about this? Okay, so then it turns out that Andrade, when he steps up, he doesn't look good, and then on top of that, he can't sell. So he's in between a rock and a hard place because now Canelo can just keep saying this guy stinks and he can't sell. So therefore, why would I want to fight him? So hopefully he steps it up, man. Now, I also wanted to point something out here because I think nobody really wants to talk about Andrade. Surprise, surprise.
No, I like Andrade. That's right. Almighty Andrade. So, chill.
All right,
let's just ignore him and keep it. Let's just ignore that dude and keep him moving. All right, fuck Andrade.
No, but all right now, Team Zook.
Y'all not gonna disrespect the Almighty Andrade. The Almighty Andrade, man.
We just did.
He'll take everybody out.
We just did.
Okay, yeah, he's good. Can we just stop talking about him?
Who are you talking about? who are you guys talking about this whole time?
Andrade. Please don't make us go. Yeah, please don't make us go back to him, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Is he a welterweight?
Ah, come on, Irish.
He might as well be.
Come on.
He might
we
as
all
well.
know about Almighty Andrade, bro. Everybody's scared of Almighty Andrade. He is the boogeyman, and let's get over it.
Can I say something?
When he looks at himself, he scares himself. When he looks in the mirror, he scares himself. Therefore, he's the boogeyman.
I thought he falls asleep when he looks at himself.
He scares himself. He scares the whole middleweight.
Just comparison I've heard.
The problem is Andrade's like Clarissa Shields. It's not going to sell nothing in America. That's why Shields had to come to England because she knows in America she won't do nothing. She's trying to
Another relevant topic. I don't know who she is.
All right, listen. Let's move on to something else then. Let's move on to something else because Tim Tszyu came out and he said that Charlo is not a lion. Now, Tim Tszyu is on the come up. I don't know why I don't really like these new fighters, this new generation of fighters talking a lot on social media. I'll tell you what about Tim Tszyu. He's gonna be fighting. It says here right here. Does anyone know who's gonna be fighting next? I thought
Terrell Goucher, right?
Yeah, okay, that's a good test. I want to see.
That's a good fight.
I want to see if Tim Tszyu, unlike his father, can roll with a right hand because he was supposed to fight the male stripper Serafa, and that fight fell through. That would have been a good fight because Serafa did give Kell Brook a whole lot of business. So what do you guys think about Tim Tszyu? What do you think about the talking these new fighters do, always jawing and barking on social media? And how far can Tim Tszyu go?
Well, to your point of rolling with the right hand, didn't he fight Takeshi?
Hold on. One at a time. Chibi. One at a time. I think it was Cloudy who was going, or was it Irish?
Nope.
I mean, I was talking. Yeah, I was gonna say to your point of rolling with the right hand, he fought Takeshi anyway, who only throws the right hand. So he beat him. So there's that, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point right there.
I just want to say real quick, dude. Yes, I was wrong about Chris Eubanks. He was being sued by Frank Warren. Actually, Warren beat him. Won a lawsuit for his fucking not fighting Langford, and I didn't read the whole article, so when I just saw that, I assumed he was with them. No, he won a lawsuit against them. Anyways,
No,
just wanted to
he's
clear
with
that
Sky
up.
Sport. He's with Sky Sports.
Yes, yep.
How is now the big question here, and it's the last time I'm gonna bring this up. How the hell is Tim Tszyu more relevant than the Almighty Andrade? I'm curious about that.
Because he's actually
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, hold
Because
on,
he's an
guys. Let's just
exciting
ignore
fighter,
that.
and the
Let's
other
just
one's
ignore
boring.
that. Let's
The
just
only
ignore that
reason
and keep it
Andrade is
moving.
relevant is because he's chasing Canelo.
Canelo.
All right,
But-
so that he's a champion, man. We're gonna just throw that he's a champion. We're gonna throw that out the window, right?
Why does he keep turning down championship
And,
fights?
and the fact that he's a champion, but who did he fight?
And that's how bad he is. He's a champion and nobody knows him.
Well, I think
Nobody wants
I prefer
though.
title holder to champion for him. To be
Oh,
honest,
yeah.
I think that's more
The guy's a
appropriate.
fucking middleweight Deontay Wilder.
No. He's like a middleweight.
Deontay Wilder gets knockouts. Like, let's be honest, right? Andre, beat Walter Catman Shaky Legs, for the vacant title after Saunders, who did nothing at that weight, by the way, tested positive for oxyfrowine. So I mean, the whole thing is a debacle. That belt should have been Triple G's back when Felix Sturm had it. So it's like a joke, like the title
Are we
holder.
back
is the
to?
right,
Hold on a second. Are we back to? Chibi, what are you trying to do, man? What are you trying to do to this show? Are we back to Andrade? What's the matter with you?
Yeah, you trying to destroy the show?
The only thing I'm trying to do is, man, you feel me? And I'm only saying this because I've been holding it back because I always try to be like a real, sport about this. But like, if the Almighty Andrade was so fucking trash, why won't Canelo just wipe him out? Like,
That's not an argument. But hold on. That's not.
How much money would you give Canelo for that?
That's how trash he is. Canelo won't even take a cherry pick like Andrade. That's how bad he is.
Yeah, but can I say something? But can I just hold on? I just want to say something, please. I want to say something here. That's not a good argument. When you go, well, if he's so bad, why won't Canelo fight him? I'm so bad, and if Canelo doesn't fight me, doesn't mean he's ducking me. I'm a nobody. So that argument right there, it's not a valid one. He's got all the.
It's kind of irrelevant because the only thing that I'm saying is that the Almighty Andrade, you feel me? Yeah, he's so trash.
Bro, can you stop calling him the Almighty? Like, that shit is
all
cringe.
trash Andrade. All trash Andrade. Because they would lose.
His name is Doodoo. That's his nickname's Doodoo, isn't it?
Yeah, we call it over here.
Andrade.
What you call Almighty, we call Doodoo on this side of.
Well, okay.
Money.
Yeah, BDA, can I say something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I watched Tim Tszyu, and I seen enough of him. Maybe it's not a lot. It's a lot, but a little. But in the stuff that I seen from him from the eye test, I could surmise he's a power puncher. Now, one punch that I saw him land really good was that uppercut. He's got a strong uppercut, so I consider him a power puncher. But not just on punching power alone is he going to make it. He leads to learn how to be an effective boxer, to become a good boxer puncher, and maybe not fall into that same position like when his father fought that one guy and he got knocked out because he wanted to exchange a little too much. Now he has to box smartly. So, but yeah, I do consider that guy a power puncher.
Look what happened to Wilder when they tried to make him a boxer.
Hey, come on, man. Leave Wilder alone, man.
I mean, am I wrong?
Fuck.
Dude, it sounds like you have amazing taste in fighters.
How old is Andrade?
34.
One thing I will say about Wilder. Please don't put.
Go ahead.
Whatever. This is the one thing I won't accept. Do not insult Wilder by putting Andrade in the same sentence.
At least Wilder was somewhat entertaining.
Exactly.
Man, listen, man. Y'all can say whatever y'all want about Wilder, but at the end of the day,
let me ask you one thing. Chibi, let me ask you one thing about Andrade. Let me ask you one thing about Andrade. If he fought Canelo, what do you think the pay purse is going to be for each fighter? They will accept.
Exactly.
Well, listen, if he fought Andrade,
it wouldn't be any less than with Bivol.
That's going to be a sold out crowd regardless because it's Canelo. But Canelo don't. It's a high risk, low reward. So he's like, okay, well, I might get.
I'm asking you how much. Guy. Put a figure.
It's a low risk, low reward, but I understand what you're
So you're hold on. Sorry, Chibi, please, can I ask you a question, Chibi? Are you telling me Andrade? You think Andrade is more dangerous than Bivol?
No comment.
Ah, come on. What the fuck? Okay, so all of a sudden, the almighty Andre isn't all that mighty, man. That's what I'm getting from this.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this. Okay, I think that both of them are equally dangerous. Okay, if you take the
Equally
Almighty
dangerous,
Andrade
really?
or Bivol fight, it'll all
Listen.
still be the same. It's
I
still
mean,
50-50.
He's
you know that
15
nobody
pounds
agrees
bigger.
with you.
So if he was to fight Bivol, if Andrade and Bivol fought, who would you pick to win?
I mean, people will spangle. What kind of question is that?
He's
Oh, I
15
know,
pounds.
just-
Listen,
What
I
spank
will put
almighty?
I would say the Almighty Andrade will win, and the reason why is because he's so unorthodox and he will get
This is
caught.
trolling
The only
the
way
highest
how he
level.
would lose the fight is if he ended up getting tired
You
by
know
round 8.
Andrade will lose on himself. He'll just gas and die. That's all.
That's it all over YouTube right now, bro.
Andre
Doodle will
knocked
lose
himself
by
down.
himself.
Chibi, I'll be honest. I think you're too good for this channel. You should be doing stand-up comedy, man.
Oh, come on. Wait a minute. See, now that's an insult, man. What's the matter with you? Come on.
Hey, Black TV, when are you gonna pay my homie, man? You want fucking money? What the fuck, man? Bro, it's been a month, bro. What the fuck, man? Like, are you gonna pay my homie money? Yes or no?
Every time you come in here with your racist nonsense, then this whole freaking
Yeah, but Chibi, you're perpetuating by not
Paying your homies money is racist, bro. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, no, I'm talking about you being a troll. Like, bro, what are you even here for? Like, all you do is sit here and talk, and then you don't even talk about black fighters. You only talk about Mexican fighters, Mexican pride.
You was
There's nothing you bring to the table.
That's from the guy who just said Andrade beats Bivol.
Can you fucking believe this guy, bro?
The Almighty.
The
Average
Almighty
Andre
Andrade, and then he calls me a troll, bro. You fucking believe this?
At least
dude.
the one thing I could say, I never heard LT call Canelo Almighty Canelo.
Yeah.
Oh, what you mean, bro? He be lying this
Screech be calling him Almighty Canelo, bro.
The only almighty is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's the one you gotta focus
That's
on.
the only almighty.
Amen.
That's right. That's
He
right.
is. Amen.
Now,
Exactly.
when it comes to, hey, by the way, okay, so was that Chibi? You're still on this?
Sorry.
Yeah, because listen, forget Andrade, man. It's you know what? Get on.
I already forgot about him, BDA. Just to let you know.
Why don't you jump on? Hey, listen, Chibi. There's other fighters. There's other good fighters out there. Jump on the team and come on in for the big win. That's what I say. Stop focusing on losers and come on in with winners. All right, that's my advice to you.
BDA.
Let me ask you this question: who you think will win in a fight out of Jamal Charlo or the Almighty Andrade?
Jamal Charlo.
Everybody loses.
Jamal Charlo beats him. You see how
Big
fast I
Charlo.
was? I didn't even have to think about it. I didn't even have to think about it. Just Charlo. You thought it was a hard question. I thought that was the easiest question you could give me. Charlo beats him.
Now wait a minute.
Charlie.
I mean, it wouldn't be easy.
Andrade, so I'm gonna stop talking about him. But
I think Charlo. All he has to do is just stay calm for 6 rounds and watch this bitch just die in the last half of the fight.
Well, you gotta call him a bitch, man. Come on.
Bro, that's disrespectful.
Yeah, that is disrespectful. Recognize, and I think you should apologize, man.
Still disrespectful, but he'll just beat himself in the end. Come on, let's just be honest.
Nah. You got a little out of hand yourself, there, Recognize.
It's disrespectful. That's why Recognize said it. I mean, do you think he would have said it if it wasn't disrespectful?
That's like man. He said that like if the Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez was going to be an even fight, and we already know who's going to win that fight. That was you just went too far.
Hey, can I say something about that?
Look, I'm gonna say, bro, people shouldn't be saying that Valdez just gonna get destroyed. Yeah, I'm picking Shakur, but
He will.
bro, he's gonna show us something too.
Well, hold on, let me finish.
He's gonna
stop it. He will.
All right, is that what you interrupted the
And
guy?
I think Charlo destroys Andre. That's
Who
fine.
has Shakur destroyed before?
Bro, I don't like destroy, bro. Like, all right, bro.
That's what they're saying. They're saying that's what they're saying. They're saying he's going to destroy Oscar.
Well, can I say something real quick? Can I say something about that? If
slapbox Andre, slapbox him.
Can I say something about that? I just watched because I said I wasn't going to watch it live and I didn't, but now it's time to watch it. The Constancio versus Valdez fight. Constancio beat him. So here's the thing: if Shakur Stevenson really is all that, I'm now expecting him to destroy Valdez, and if he doesn't destroy him, and if he just boxes and throws one shot per round and spends the rest of the time moving and clinching, I'm going to be very disappointed. I got to tell you, very disappointed.
Bro, BDA, I guarantee you that the fight's going to be ended by round 7. We see.
How much are you putting? How much money are you putting?
Gotti and Mayweather.
Tom, put your money where your mouth is. How much money are you putting up?
500.
Why would I put money on anything if
How
I'm
much money
already
are
in
you
debt,
putting
my
up,
nigga?
like TB?
I'm not putting nothing on it because I'm in debt. I can't do that right now, bro.
Motherfucker, pay my homie his money, you punk bitch.
Now the name calling is unnecessary, man. The name calling is unnecessary. Come on.
No, it's very necessary.
Bro, man, listen, man. This is my bro. Like I said, bro. The reason why LT don't like me is because I don't like Canelo, bro. The fan base is toxic, and that's just what it is. If I would have said Canelo was the best fighter ever, like he would not be coming at me about this.
Hey, can I say something about that? Can I say something? Can I say something about that? Can I say something about that?
Pay my homie his money.
All right. Can I say something about that Chibi just brought up? By the way, someone's got a lot of background noise, like they're
Yeah, it's not like they're fighting, man. What's going on?
I want to say something, but I was listening to
when you're not talking, mute your shit, man.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I was listening to Thunderdome yesterday, and they were talking about Canelo and how he looks completely 100% Irish. Like if you didn't know who he was and you didn't hear him talk, you would think he's white. And there were a bunch of people. There were a bunch of people in the chat going, "Nah, but he's 10% this and 10% that, and he actually looks Mexican and he's actually mestizo." And I'm thinking, okay, so it's not enough for these hardcore Canelo fans to defend everything he does, every decision he's ever received, his style. Now they gotta claim that he looks Mexican. Come on, let's be honest about it. That's the smoking gun. That's the.
Mikey Garcia looks Mexican.
Can I finish, please, real quick? Yeah. So that to me is the smoking gun.
Hold on,
I'm gonna have to mute him. That to me is the smoking gun when it comes to how a lot of these people root for a guy just because it's the same nationality or because they look like them. Because these people they just have to live through Canelo because he's Mexican and they're Mexican. But when people point out, actually, this guy looks nothing. 90% of Mexicans they're brown skinned. If you see a guy like Canelo, listen, I grew up in Mexico. I grew up in Mexico. There's white people, but I never saw. I don't remember ever. Actually, maybe one guy in kindergarten who was a ginger. Other than that, it's pretty rare. So these people that have to cling to the notion, now he looks Mexican. Come on, it's not enough that he's Mexican.
Bro,
He's Mexican. Just live with it.
Me, bro. Like I look Irish and French, bro.
No, you don't.
I am totally Mexican, bro. I'm totally Mexican, bro. Like, you might think I might be German, bro. If you saw me,
he don't look Mexican. Canelo does not look Mexican.
I am so Mexican, bro. Like.
All right, Gonzalo wanted to say something. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
Yeah, I spoke to Unrivaled Boxing about 8-9 months ago, and he told me that although Canelo is redhead, and got freckles, that for him, because he's Irish, that he looks like a Mexican because obviously he's over there, but he sees the structure of the face, how it's round and certain features, and he can tell the difference. Over here in the Philippines, everybody looked like a Filipino to me. Mm-hmm. But it changes. It changes, like, depending who's from the eye of the beholder.
Well, when you say, like, hey, this guy's Japanese, let's say he's a half-breed and he's half, I don't know, white, half Japanese. Like, what do they call him? Hapa, right? He's a Hapa. You can still tell.
Hafu.
Right. But those guys are... But those guys are the minority, right? So when people say, no, but he's still Japanese, he doesn't look like that traditional Japanese person. Let's just put it that way. So that's the same thing with Canelo. He does not look like a traditional Mexican. So when these people insist that, no, he looks Mexican, he's like me. Trust me, you look nothing like him. If you look like the guy from, what's the name from that guy from Napoleon Dynamite, his friend, and you look at Canelo, you think you look like, you need to get some glasses, man.
BDA, let's be honest. BDA, let's be honest. Canelo, whether he was Puerto Rican, Mexican, whatever, growing up in the hood on the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, everybody knows they would call him either red or white boy. That's who he would be.
Or
Am I right? Yes or
quesadillo.
no?
They used to call him quesadillo, which means cheesehead. So like right there, it tells you he doesn't look like the traditional man. And can I just say something, Gonzalo, real quick? What I'm trying to get at here, because I don't want to focus too much on the racial aspect, but what I'm trying to get is it was really revealing to see these people insisting that he looks Mexican, because they just expose themselves as people that root for Canelo just because he's Mexican. If he weren't Mexican, they wouldn't be insisting so much about what he looks like and what nationality he is. So that's just what I wanted to say.
One more thing, BDA. I grew up with a dude that we used to call him Red, and he looked exactly like Canelo. He's Puerto Rican though, but he was either red or white boy. There was nothing wrong with it. He just didn't look Puerto Rican. He just didn't look it. You know?
Yeah, he looks Mexican like Sean White looks black.
Yeah, nowadays it's crazy.
It was okay because we knew he was Puerto Rican. We knew that, but we was just like that was our nickname for him: White boy, Red. You know, that's it.
At least you
like 4 years ago, before I left to come to the Philippines, I remember being over in San Diego, then Mexico, the Tijuana area, and there's a lot of mixed people that they don't necessarily look like natives. I would almost dare to say that the native-looking Mexicans are almost like the minority now. I used to live in this little pueblito called Tecate, Mexico, also, which is close to Tijuana. I don't know, about 60 miles away. And I recall in that little pueblito, everybody looks white, with red hair as well, blonde hair, blue eyes, green eyes. It's crazy, man. Not all Mexicans are brown.
Well, there you have it. It's an interesting conversation for another episode. I suppose a second Renaissance episode. But look, listen, guys, we've been
on this point, you gotta recognize that Canelo is a truly global athlete. Like, you know, he looks Irish, he talks Mexican, and he fights like a black guy.
No, that's true.
No.
He's next generation. You're right. He's a next generation fighter is what he is. You're right. Hey, by the way, also
ever since he fought Floyd Mayweather, he has been fighting like a black guy, though. That is true.
Well, there
Ever since he fought Triple G, he hits hard like a motherfucker, boy.
Hey, maybe when as he starts learning more English, he'll start talking like an Italian too. Oh, hey, forget about it. Oh, forget about it. Hey, Matsanami.
Instead of telling Andre, get the fuck out of here, he'll be like, forget about it.
Man, get off the fucking Pontiac.
What's the matter with you?
One payday, all right? Hey, yo, who are you, Andrade? You are a terrible fighter. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
That's too Italian. That's too Italian.
He'll pull up in a Trans Am.
Mexicans are a mixed blood now. It's not like they're natives any longer. When Spain invaded Mexico, Spaniards are white. They became a mixed breed, so to speak. I don't know if that's the right term.
Listen, I don't want to offend nobody, but Mexicans are assholes, if you ask me. Okay?
Oh, what's the matter with you? Wait a minute, what?
I'll play it around. I'll play it around. Calm down.
Come on, you better watch it to recognize. You better watch it.
I wonder if the Kazakhs get into it. This guy looks more Russian than he does Japanese or Korean.
Yeah, they probably do, man. All right, well, listen.
Fucking Mexicans that look Korean and shit, bro. You're right, Gonzalo. You're right.
Now, when you guys say Mexicans, like the native Mexican, are you talking about like Cruz, the kid that Davis fought? Like he looks like kind of Meso-Indian. Is that what you mean by looking Mexican? The Meso-Indian look?
No. That motherfucker looks like indigena. That motherfucker looks like Indian, bro. Like we will.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm asking. If I'm asking wrong, I apologize.
Yeah, you should
in
apologize.
Mexico, we will call that. That's an Indio. So like, he's an Indio.
Hey, by the way, speaking of,
he's from the capital, so you're gonna get a lot of those type of Mexicans because that's where the Aztecs used to be from. That's where the pyramids are around, close to that area in the capital of Mexico in that district. So
speaking of Mexico,
man, you also got a lot of white people.
Okay. Speaking of Mexico,
got a lot of white people in the area because it's the capital, and you got a lot of people like actors and whatnot, businesses, and they migrate there for I don't know.
Gonzalo, speaking of Mexicans, I sent you that clip there of Morales talking about Barrera. They're no longer doing that show there, but Morales is still doing it by himself. And if you check out one of the latest episodes, they had Margarito there, and he went into the whole Mosley thing, and he said, and I'd forgotten about that detail. Nassim Richardson, brother Nassim, he actually took whatever fell from Margarito's gloves, and he took it with him because he said,
I saw that. Yeah,
right.
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I had forgotten that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, I saw that, and I was gonna send it to you, but I don't want to annoy you. I figured that you were gonna watch it on your own, and you did, and you sent it to me. Yeah, he took the hand wrap away, and he fiddled. He played around with those, and one of Margarito's trainers, they followed him, but eventually, when it got to the courts, Margarito said they took the wraps, and I kind of wonder why you, the commission, didn't do anything about it. So, I mean, he had a valid point, and I was watching that. But go ahead, Vidya, continue. It was interesting because he did do that.
Now, who took the raps? His opponent took the raps?
Naseem
Richardson, rest in peace. Yes,
okay, all right. Well, here's the thing. If those raps at any time left anybody's sight, say Richards grabbed it and said, I'm going to have these things sent out, if those raps now left anybody's sight or somebody that couldn't sign off on it, you can't trust it. And I'm not putting it on them. I'm not saying they added anything, but I'm just saying it should have been bagged up, sealed, signed off by the commission, and sent out to a fucking place to do a Gasto Media read to tell you whatever the fuck is on there.
Listen,
if yes.
In my opinion, that was some dirty shit from a very dirty trainer. And I'm not talking about Margarito's side.
Oh,
I'm talking about the other side. I'm talking about the guy who actually.
Now, don't forget it.
I'm talking about the guy who actually got caught on camera trying to mess with his fighter's glove, but it got caught out there. And the reason the fight wasn't postponed or anything like that because they caught it right there. Had they not, they would have tried to use it, and you could just watch, Naseem's face as he literally says, "Oh shit." Like, he literally says it. All right, so fuck him.
Well,
and you know what? Eric Morales brought up a great point, BDA, when he was talking about, under the lights, the sweat, right around, like, the 9th round. If you were to have actual, like, plaster of Paris, by the time you get into, like, those certain rounds where your gloves become heavy, do you think you're actually going to be able to swing your hands with that extra weight inside of it? No, man, it's just ridiculous. They kind of went over the whole
Paris. And you know what they did to Trinidad? All they did was made him rewrap, and the commission said he wrapped it the same way. You just made him take it off so he can wrap it up the same way. I don't get why we did this for.
And even with the wraps, Jimmy, they couldn't come to a definitive conclusion that it had any sort of substance. That's why Margarito only got suspended for a year instead of getting banned for life.
6 months.
Exactly.
You're right. You got to suspend
him for a year from Vegas. I don't understand the benefit of it. So what you're trying to say is like, he wrapped his hands, and in between the wraps, or they use cotton. Well, they don't use an actual cotton, but they use the rest. So he dunked it and like got it dusty, covered in plaster of Paris. So when he sweat, then it would harden. The thing is, it would harden in a thin little crust. The first time he threw a jab, it would just break into pieces and end up just scratching up his hand, and like the lion, it would have burnt his skin. Like, there would have been no fucking benefit in doing that unless you make it a complete cast.
The benefit was to throw Margarito off his game plan. So imagine you're wrapped up already, and somebody comes in, or you're about to get wrapped up, and somebody comes in, takes your glove, takes it to the locker room, his locker room, where he's not being, from the way I understand it, he wasn't being supervised, right? So imagine what's going through your head. You're like, what the fuck? What's going on? How is this dude who's I'm about to fight his fighter? How is he able to get my glove and take it somewhere?
Before a fight, somebody took somebody's glove out of the commission site. Wow, that never, because the reason why you see an autograph on the glove, that once the commission brings the glove in your dressing room, you know what I'm saying? That dude never leaves the site of those gloves until he follows you into the ring.
I think
that's crazy if somebody did that. It's nuts.
His wraps were about to go on when I think he had them on. I believe it was. He had them on, and then they took it from him. They took the wrap. Naseem took the wraps as a request. Took it somewhere to like his locker room or whatever, and that's when this whole thing came about. And my point is, they were trying to fuck. They were trying to fuck with Margarito and probably try to frame him at the same time.
And the thing is with Margarito, he's the one that requested Javier Capetillo, the guy that wraps his hands, to rewrap them again because he wasn't comfortable with the way it was fitting. So upon his request, he delayed it to where he gave an opportunity to Nassim Richardson to speculate enough that he said, wait a minute, I want him to take the wraps off after Margarito was the one that started stalling. So you could actually say that it was Margarito that kind of provoked that to happen. Because he was not comfortable with the wraps to begin with. And another thing real quick. Look, if you're a guy like Margarito that's known for throwing like a lot of punches that goes usually from like less to more. If you have a substance in your gloves that makes your hands heavier, you think you're gonna be able to throw more punches? Usually your hands get so heavy, like Morales was alluding, that by around like the 8th or 9th round, your hands are gonna be so heavy that you're not gonna be able to pick up your hands. But if you're if you're a guy that goes from less to more, like Margarito usually does, with the substances in your hand, wouldn't that be an indicator that you would probably throw less punches as opposed to how his style indicates that he throws more?
Well, do you know how much plaster Paris you would have to put on for a fighter to notice? Like you would have to put on ounces of the stuff. And again, it would serve no purpose. You would actually, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. I don't ever understood if somebody ever did that, why they would do that. But to show you how crazy the fucking commission is about the gloves. If you're a fighter, you get gloved up, and all of a sudden you get fucking bubble gut because you get a little nervous and you have to hit the head. You have to sit there and shit with the door open while the commission looks at you.
Well, that's the thing. I always shit with my door open, much to the chagrin of my guests. But the point is,
you do it because you want everybody to smell your beef.
That's right. But now, what I wanted to say about Margarito was that he's actually going to. He said, "Look, it was my fuck up too because we shouldn't have never allowed Nassim Richardson to just leave with the hand wraps, and that didn't come up during the commission hearing." He says he's looking into it with his own lawyers now because really, every time you see Margarito, people keep bringing up the plaster thing. And it might turn out to be that it was one of the biggest railroads in boxing history. So he says he's going to look into it. He's going to take some action into it, or about it rather, and we'll see what happens.
Well,
but yeah, listen.
Of course, because they got the raps, so they got the evidence. And where's the definitive proof that under a lab or a like scientist upon investigation that you can conclude that it was this or that?
Well, that's
do they have that evidence?
Well, that's the thing.
Why is there such a gray area?
Well, the commission said that there were substances or traces of substances consistent with the making of plaster of Paris. So notice the wording. They didn't say that he had plaster of Paris. They said he had some. So I think it was Jimmy who had mentioned that could have been from punching the wall with the hand wraps. That could have been from scraping it against the walls. I mean, it could have been anything. So when these people come out with the whole, well, he had plaster of Paris, and that's the other thing. That's when boxing experience actually comes into play, because if anybody's ever boxed before, any extra weight on your gloves or on your hands, when you're tired, they feel like tons on your hands. It does take a certain amount of energy to keep your hands up. So
that's what I was saying, BD, and I could have said it all along, but nobody was going to listen with that Wilder conspiracy. It's true, man. You did a little bit of extra weight. Just try picking up some weights in shadow boxing. You have
the only way plaster Paris. I honestly thought when I first read it, I thought, oh my God, is he trying? I thought he was trying to use it for the lie, like the lie. Say you're punching and it's leather, so it's a pliable material. Eventually bleed through. I thought he put just enough, dust inside his glove, hoping the lie would irritate the dude's eyes, because there's no way it would benefit the puncher. And listen, that's just my point. Also, that it's not unusual to see guys get their fucking wraps redone. Some dudes are like myself, which is ridiculous, but I always was superstitious. Every wrap had to be done the same exact way, and I'd have them do it over again if it wasn't the way. It was just superstitious and stupid, I know, but it's not unusual to have people re-wrap.
Just want to say one thing, guys. I'm going to go to bed. It's been great speaking to everybody. Best of luck, and I'll see you guys next time.
All right, take it easy there, Kenshiro. Thank you for coming in, man. And by the way, can I just
Jimmy Gonzalez, thank you very much, man.
Yeah,
all right,
thank you, man.
Can I just say real quick, shout out to Eddie Valenzuela for his contribution with the Super Chat. He says, Northern Mexico has a lot of whites, and especially Guadalajara. BDA, you from Oaxaca, haha, joking. Salute, brothers. And even Pitbull Cruz is a mixed Spaniard. Yeah, they all have Spaniards. We all have what?
Sorry, that's what they call the Spanish eyes, the Tapatio eyes. They're like big and arched, and the women there like have like real beautiful eyes.
Ah, I see.
Over
I see.
in Mexico.
Can we all just agree that Canelo Alvarez is just albino?
No,
yeah, let's just call him
Sorry. And, you know, and who's to say that the Naseem Richardson guy, when he grabbed the hand wraps, he already had it in his mind, dude. I'm gonna rub some shit on it. I'm gonna walk away, and I'm just gonna rub it like a little cream, you know, and maybe leave some trace elements. Because in the end of the day, trace elements. That's like in the things that the plaster of Paris has. Those are natural elements, and anything can have that. That constitution and that material could be in anything that's natural.
Exactly. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Because we don't know. So what I'm saying is they're going to think
innocent, man. He just.
Well, let me just finish saying this, man, because I think they're going to take it. Margarito wants to take it to court, so we'll see what happens. But can I just say something about Naseem Richardson? Because, excuse me, that's the thing. When Tyson Fury fought Cunningham, Fury said, "I'm going to box him," and then he decided to smother him and just knock him out, use his size advantage. Naseem Richardson, after the fight, goes, this guy said he was going to box him, and instead he used his strength, whatever. So he was being passive aggressive, and he just couldn't let go of the fact that Cunningham, his fighter, lost. Then when Wilder fought Fury the first time, and most people believe Fury should have won that fight despite the knockdowns, he was there in the fight, and they interviewed him. He goes, "We already knew if he went to the scorecards, Fury was going to get the decision." So Wilder, the preferred fighter there for the BBC, he says was going to get robbed. That's his. So it always remained to me and to a lot of people the fact that this guy was salty about the loss, and that's the hypocritical thing is he accused Fury of fighting dirty. Meanwhile, he was in the corner of Bernard Hopkins for about 15 years, or maybe a little bit less, and Hopkins was the quintessential do what you got to do to win fighter. So it's a little bit hypocritical for him to judge Fury about the clinching.
He was in the same corner of Cunningham. Remember when Cunningham's thumb visibly thumbs the black European, like he was from Africa?
No, he was Canadian. Troy Ross. Yeah, Troy
Canadian.
Ross.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I mean, it was obvious what he
did. Trying to claim that.
Naseem is he's dirty, and you do dirt, you get dirt, and so it is what it is.
This is how clueless Margarito is to Naseem. When Morales was interviewing him,
Margarito is innocent. I just want to say that.
Hello. When Morales was interviewing him, he couldn't even recall his name. He goes, "Oh, that guy died, but I can't remember his name right now." If he would have really taken it to heart, he would know that's that guy Naseem Richardson. It's how clueless he is to him.
That's true. Yeah, you're absolutely right. People have to remember when these fighters are in the dressing room, they're micromanaging. They're in the zone. They're getting in the zone. They get people there to do their bidding. Hey, go get me a cup of, a drink. Go get me this. Oh, go get me a heater. It's too cold in here. They're not thinking. So this motherfucker fucked up, Margarito. That's his fault too, as well, and he admits it.
He should never let him take his glove. I agree with that. He should have never.
Yeah.
And the commission should throw out whatever evidence they have. If those raps left their site, and if Naseem Richards had sole custody of those things, you can't trust anything they find on it. You just can't.
Oh, that's why he was never suspended. He was never jailed. Remember when they caught what was his name? Louis Resto, Panama.
Resto.
He went to prison. He went to prison for that because that was assault. He did 3 years. 3 years in jail.
Well, it's what we said that all the time about Wilder. If he actually put a piece of steel in his glove, that's an attempted murder charge. You know what I mean?
I get the feeling that some of these the commissioners, like the people almost Nevada, they're naive because especially for like if you're the B side and you're coming in to fight the A side, man, they allow themselves to get bullied by these A side fighters. The commission does. I'm not saying it's true, but I just get the feeling that they think that the fighters people are more intelligent or like knowledgeable.
Depends on the guy.
They give them too much power. Like they're more knowledgeable in the boxing system because not everybody knows boxing. But the commission hands over a lot of like the things that need to be dealt with by the commission to the people's team. And like you said, that depends on the fighter. because especially because those people are gonna come in with that not bully mentality, but like we're in charge type of mentality. And I just think that
you're cutting off there, Gonzalo. You cut off a little bit there.
Tyson was one of the easiest people to deal with.
I mean, well, listen, at the end of the day, it's boxing. It just never disappoints when it comes to the hijinks that involved. Yeah. So, listen, fellas, at the end of the day, I think we've said a lot here. We've been on for 2 hours and 20 minutes, so we're going to call it a wrap. We're going to wrap it up. But, hey, you guys can stay on the Discord, as always, and keep hashing it out amongst yourselves. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got Josh Taylor versus Catterall. We've got the Showtime card, which is packed with 3 solid fights. It's going to be a good night, a good day of boxing overall. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Don't forget to like. What's that?
Sorry, I said that too loud.
Yeah, what the fuck? Anyway, listen, fellas, thanks again, everybody who jumped on the panel, everyone who donated. Oh, but yeah, speaking of donations, Extra Repertoire says, great stream, guys. BDA and Bucho sound like twins. And then he puts 2 ballerinas there. I don't know what he's trying to get at, but anyway, shout out to...
I knew the ballerinas, but they don't sound nothing alike.
Oh, come on. Yeah, well, at least you give me that. But
are you doing a show tomorrow, BDA?
Well, yeah, it depends on if something interesting happens after the Josh Taylor fight. If not, perhaps not. But yeah, hey, Jimmy, we got to get together and do a second renaissance on bodybuilding and nutrition overall, because I got a lot of questions about that. So you're the man to speak.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Those guys keep dying, no, BDA too. They keep dropping like flies.
Hey, Jimmy, what's the name of the black dude that has a shitload of injuries now? He was in Dorian Yates' time. He was like his nemesis or something. What was the guy's name?
Ronnie Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman, yes.
Ronnie Coleman, the Texas police officer, Arlington, Texas cop.
What the fuck happened to that guy? Because he looks like he's an old man now with the way he moves.
A lot of them get like that when they get older because their joints get all fucked up.
Jeez, Louise.
Yeah.
From the weights.
All right.
Yeah, weights fuck you up, man. Weights fuck you up. But we could talk about that also.
Yeah, he went to use.
I like how recognized bundles himself in there with the bodybuilders. Like, yeah, man, in our lifestyle, man, you really got to watch out, man.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something, bro.
All right. Well, listen, shout out to everybody that joined us. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one, fellas. Take it easy.